Salutations and welcome to the Manabar Video Game Podcast, episode 30 on November 13th, 2019. I'm your host, Andy Rhodes, and I'm here with Matt Samarco.
Hey, how you doing?
And Dan Party.
Hey-o!
This is it, guys.
Yep.
This is what?
November 13th. I'm really excited.
What? No, the big throw.
Oh, I don't know what's happening.
The big 3-0. 30. It's a round... 30. It's a nice round number. Big 30, episode 30.
We've done that twice before.
Yeah.
With
20,
what?
10?
Did we do anything for 10?
No.
So 0?
I think we did something for 25. By something, I mean we simply said, yeah, it's 25.
We have 1,000 downloads at least.
That's a big
Thank you, guys.
accomplishment. Thank you, everyone. A lot of chatter on the gram right now.
Yeah.
A lot of likes.
Yeah, keep it going, guys. Spread the word. Thank you.
How you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
That's not true.
Okay.
You're not doing great, man?
No, Matt hates his life when it's
Whoa.
below 60 degrees outside.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a fan of the cold weather. It's
I
cold.
just got a text from my cousin.
We're based in Massachusetts. It's very cold right now.
He's in Arizona. It's 79 degrees.
Okay, all I wanted
lives.
was a proper 3 months of fall weather that the calendar promises me every year of like 55 to 60 degree weather.
You might get it this weekend. It's supposed to be.
I had 2 weeks of that followed by misery. Mm-hmm. What did I have all summer? Also misery.
And it'll be miserable till April, so...
Well, for you. For me, it's going to pick up around like maybe early March, mid-March maybe.
Sure.
What's early March? Like 50?
I don't think so.
Or is it still cold?
It's still cold.
Oh, it's cold. Oh, God.
Oh, wait. No, for me, it's April. For you, it's not going to be better until like, what, June?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. That makes more
I'm like
sense.
Matt. I like the June, July, August, September, yeah.
Oh, that's right. I have a surprise for you guys.
Oh, dear.
He's left the table.
He quit.
Andy has placed a package on the table.
I'm gonna live open this video game I got in the mail today.
Oh,
By live, I mean this audio format podcast. That
Wait. Before you open it, let me see.
Don't we already know what it is?
I don't know what it is. Wait. Oh, yeah, I do. Never mind.
Matt, if you hadn't said something though,
Yeah,
that
I would have been.
funny. He's sitting here like feeling it up, like, oh my god, it does feel like a square, rectangle type box. That's right.
Outer
in the mail
Worlds.
today got Outer Worlds.
Sweet.
What should not be Outer Worlds? That'd be
That'd be
hilarious.
Should have bought the disc protection.
I hope it's the Xbox version.
Oh, dude, that would suck. Well, no, because I know. Oh, the disc is flopping around. Thank God these PS4 discs are actually durable. See, it's like the moon.
That's why you gotta get the GPG, man. You gotta get the game protection plan.
GameStop.
Oh, when I tried to pick up Death Stranding, that guy was annoying as hell. He's like, you should get the protection plan. I was like, it's a Blu-ray, man. I don't need it.
GameStop, we're aware that Blu-rays don't scratch, or you have to like really, really try. So please stop trying to sell the people that you see weekly or daily the protection plan. We're not
Or someone
buying
that's
it.
coming to a midnight, or not a midnight, but a 9 p.m. Like, obviously at that point, they're pretty hardcore that they like the game enough that they probably are big fans.
Any middle-aged woman with a child, feel free, because you're probably going to get them. I'm just saying.
Christmas time.
I'm not even talking about the fact that it's like a dumb thing to offer. I'm just more talking that it's inconveniencing me to bother to waste my time to ask. But yeah, no, I'm very excited to play this. I got the email today that I knew this was going to be waiting for me at home, so I'll probably be playing that this weekend, this
Sweet.
Friday.
It's a good game.
So you guys,
Yeah.
both of you,
Yes.
have been playing the Happening.
Was there something that came out that last week? Was there something? I don't
yeah.
recall.
Luigi's Mansion.
Really?
Yep.
Oh,
3.
I can't believe I forgot about that game.
That was October.
Both of you forgot about it. Neither of you got it.
Well, he was. Matt was like excited about it.
Did you actually play it?
Yeah, I played it.
Oh, you
Oh.
did? Okay.
Do you still have it?
No, I returned it.
Gameflied?
Yes.
Wow, that was quick.
But no, you guys have been in the Happening. I have not been in the Happening. I chose Outer Worlds instead. Both of you have been walking around trying to balance yourselves. Walking Simulator 8.0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you think?
How's that been going?
I am absolutely hooked.
Hooked.
I'm hooked. I have done nothing but like even little stupid things just because I just love the gameplay. I love the atmosphere. I will say it. I had a few moments towards the beginning where I was like, I don't know. The mules, those friggin', and their story was kind of goofy.
Yeah, they're just there
like-
so you can have someone to fight.
Yeah. So even though I thought they were very cool because they reminded me of Destiny for some reason. Like whenever I saw those enemies, I was just like, oh, they kind of look Destiny-ish. Anthem kind of, I don't know, that just reminded me of them.
They're
but
annoying because they can. I don't know how many fights you got into them, but they can see you from like wicked far away because they have.
Yeah, they have those little scanner
They
things.
have scanners around all their bases, and then they'll like just run at you, and it's not like 4 or 5 guys. Sometimes it'll be like a dozen
Yes.
or 15 guys that are all coming at you at once, and it can be a little overwhelming.
Yes, it can. But no, luckily I have a weapon now, so thank Christ. Makes that 100% easier. When you have a weapon, it feels more like Metal Gear Solid at that point. I'm like, oh yeah, that's when I absolutely fell in love with the game. I was like, I feel like I'm playing Metal Gear Solid, except in like a futuristic kind of style.
Metal Gear Solid with lots of walking.
Yes, and balancing.
All right, Matt. We'll start with you. I don't know if you've been playing anything else besides Death Stranding, but you can feel free to talk as much as you want about that, at the very least.
Death Stranding.
Yes.
Yeah. So I finished Death
With
Stranding.
no spoilers.
But not too much
With no
because
spoilers.
Dan will murder you.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm not allowed to talk video games on this video game.
That is not
podcast.
true. I did not say that. I just in case, and I don't want anything spoiled, like time, how much you spent, time wise, or that type of stuff, or how many chapters. I'm trying to figure that out on my own, because I'm taking it extremely at a snail's pace.
Yeah, it's a hard game to describe. It kind of makes sense that all of the reviews are kind of all over the place. Like I played it and I kind of went back and forth between being like, oh, this game's really cool, and like this is super boring, and like I hope it goes somewhere, and like what am I supposed to do right now? And I think I landed let's say that my favorite part about this game is just like how utterly unique it is.
Yes.
How different it is than any other game. We talk about games on this podcast every week. We'll talk about Outer Worlds, but Outer Worlds is just like a really good version of Fallout. Link's Awakening, I just played that remake. That's just a remake of an old game. Like Days Gone was really fun, but that's just Fallout with zombies. Like I don't know how to explain this game to someone because I can't say it's a Fallout. It's like like a Far Cry with zombies or something. Like there's nothing that really even is close to it.
It kind of. Have you ever played State of Decay?
No, I've seen some videos on it.
It reminds me a little bit of State of Decay, where you're very focused on building up your resources. Or in this case, you're building up like a team's resource. Bridges the company. And State of Decay was very, you had a knapsack, and it was all about, do I go that extra mile to pick up some more resources for my thing, but I have a chance to lose it all, or, I walk slower when I have more stuff in my backpack and type of thing. So it's kind of risk reward like the whole time. So that's the closest game I kind of matched it with in my head. Obviously, the graphics, the story, the voice acting, everything is 100% better than State of Decay. I thought, no, I had that same feeling. It was like a game I didn't know I wanted. I think was the reaction I had initially. I was like, wow, okay, I don't know how I feel about this, and then like hours in, I was like, okay, I am really enjoying the heck out of this, and I can see how people are giving it, like you said, bad reviews. It's just not. It really is not a game for everyone.
Yeah,
it really is not. It is clearly not. And I have to admit, Matt, that when I kept every day after day, when I saw Death Stranding still in the thing, I was like, wow.
I was determined to beat it. I wanted to see what it was all about.
I had
be able to talk about it substantially.
I would have put all my money into you trading that game in maybe a few hours into it. I really thought, I was like, okay, I think Matt's gonna.
Ye of little faith.
No. I didn't think he doesn't like slow games.
There's something like rewarding about getting over that, like getting over this long journey and getting to the end and figuring out a way past all these hard parts and using a new ability or whatever and like unlocking something new, and then you usually get like rewarded with like a small cutscene or so. You're like trying to dig at this really in-depth story throughout the whole thing. But I feel like overall I kind of went back and forth, but I don't think I really like enjoyed this game a lot. I feel like maybe it's just an average game at best for me. I guess my issues with it were just I'm trying to ruin anything for you.
Shall I leave?
No.
Remember that I have played not even Chapter 1, so you don't want to ruin anything for me either as far as the story goes.
We want Andy to play this as well.
Andy, you're not going to play this game, are you?
Yeah, I think Andy will definitely play. He's got the 2019 games he's got to play.
Yeah.
True.
That involves Resident Evil, Outer Worlds.
Don't want to spoil too much, but we got a huge special edition podcast coming up at the end of the year about Game of the Year, and I'm going to need to be prepared.
True. So yeah, I feel like some of the world, it felt a little bit that's part of its charm too, is just how open and like empty it is in some ways, and like just kind of getting across everything. But I also felt like this game was kind of leaning in towards like, okay, this is a great story with great characters, and it did have an amazing ability to build this world around you where you kind of got lost and pulled in, and that's how I think I was able to play through like the entire thing in just like a long weekend. But I feel like ultimately the some of the characters and this overall storyline didn't pay off for me. Like it didn't feel as strong as the Metal Gear storyline. Like some of the characters, like you think of from Metal Gear Solid 1, like even all of the boss like enemy characters, Ninja, Liquid Snake, even like Vulcan Raven, who has a kind of a small part, Ocelot, they all have these kind of, just even in that one game, these kind of iconic characters with great lines, and the voice acting was really great. And there was a little bit of that. There was like one or two characters that I was like, yeah, they're really cool. But I didn't really feel like it went where I wanted it to go. Like it didn't build into this world where I'm going to be like, yeah, I really want to see what Death Stranding 2 has to offer me. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this. I don't really want to see these characters or really see if there's any next step to this.
So were you saying the characters didn't leave as big of an impression on you as they did in the Metal Gear games?
And they didn't seem to be. They were. I don't know.
It's hard to live up to that too. Yeah. Because I mean, even like the Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid 3, like when he was young, it was, even though like at first when I watched him, I was like, and then just at the end of it, I was like, okay, it is a really strong character, and same thing with the boss.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So a lot of the story beats you get are not from like full-fledged cutscenes and things like that. It'll be from like holograms when you're delivering something. So I think that kind of helps add to the atmosphere of feeling kind of like you're on this lone adventure. But it can start to feel a little disconnected, like you don't seem to care about these characters that are just talking to you in these like stoic voices over a hologram. But yeah, like just traversing through the areas, and then this kind of happens early on. You'll just be like coming over a mountain cliff, and like some song will play off in the distance, and it kind of does this really good job of building up an atmosphere. But yeah, I don't know. What did you think, Dan?
I mean, like I'm not very so. I've played a lot, but I'm not very far in the game because I am taking it at a snail's pace because I'm really enjoying the heck out of it. So there's a lot of repeat you can do if you want to.
Yeah, like
I guess 100, not just 100% it, because you can redo things to try and like beat records to like.
Yeah, people want like give you orders to send packages to places, and you upgrade the facility, which is kind of nice because you can unlock better items. You can unlock different ways to travel. You can unlock better like boots so you can run further or faster, and you can unlock like things just like different outfit pieces to help you build carry stuff better. You can even like unlock like things to help you actually move the packages with you. So there's like really cool things that they kind of add piece by piece. So at the beginning of this game, it's this like struggle to get anything anywhere, but then by the end of the game, you've got so many different things that you can use to help you get across these crazy mountains that it becomes a lot less strenuous, and you just feel like you're completely more powerful in that respect about your UPS role or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm already noticing some hours into the game that it's getting fun, but they're kind of they're throwing different challenges at you rather than just focusing on the balancing the package type of stuff, the packages around like on your back. Now they're trying to throw like enemies at me, and they're trying to throw enemies and cliffs at me at the same time. And so it's not just like, it's not all about challenging, balancing. It's about, really deciding how you're going to go about going on this journey. Like, do you want to cross the water? Good luck. You might, fall in, which I've done a few times.
I watched Matt do that. It was hilarious.
Yep.
I still think one of the funniest games, and it's when you were talking about how like when it kind of pans out a little bit and starts playing music, it's not like your character doesn't walk perfectly at that point. It's not like a cutscene. Like your character's still like moving around and like slipping all the time. So when they're playing this like sentimental music and then your character's like slipping and falling all over the place, it kind of gives an opposite tone of what it's trying to do.
That's another thing I didn't mention. Like you're carrying these, albeit large packages, but when you start this game, you kind of feel like maybe like a deer that was just born. Like you're just trying to get your hands and the legs on the ground, and you can't. It seems like you can't move 15 feet without tripping like 7 times, and you're like, have you ever walked before? Don't you do this for a living? What's wrong with you? And then you do as like you level up, you get better at all that, so that it does get much easier. But it's just kind of strange, like you're struggling just to do the smallest things in that game in the first 5-10 hours.
Yeah. So, all right, outside of albeit outside of the cutscenes and the story elements, is the whole game just that? Walking around?
Yeah, they did not lie. It's just, walking around doing missions. They'll add.
Are you doing any other gameplay elements? Any puzzle solving?
So there's there's the
action?
mule enemies that Dan had mentioned before, and then there's also BTs, which are like the kind of ghostly apparition figures that are in the game that you have to. And for most of the game, you're actually trying to sneak by them as opposed to actually fighting them. So your bridge baby that you have on your chest will kind of warn you when they're nearby. Like his little beam he has.
I forget that thing.
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but it sticks out in the air and it'll point in the direction.
Oh, that
flashes.
That circle thing. Yeah, I know what
It
you're
looks
saying.
like a flower.
Yeah, in the trailers.
Or like a camera aperture or something like
basically.
that. Yeah,
That's a weird name.
and it's kind of cool because it's a completely different kind of stress than going into a mule camp and fighting humans, because you're basically trying to just not see them at all, and you have a hard time realizing where they are, and you can use your the R1 button lets you kind of scan the area and see.
But you have to stop.
See things
That's
around you.
That's the other problem. You have to completely stop, and then.
But even then, it doesn't do a good job of making them show up. So I just got.
Well, that's what I kind of like about it. It kind of gives you like a sense of where they are, and plus they move. They don't just kind of sit in one spot. And you have to, if you get really close to them, you have to like cover your mouth, or else they'll detect who you are.
It took a while to learn how powerful that move is. Just holding your mouth.
Oh yeah.
Even though you run out of breath after like a minute or so, if you're like near one, you hold your breath and just slowly walk away from it. It's like they're basically blind to you, so you can just really do a good job of getting away. And if they do catch you, it's usually not a big deal. The whole ground turns black underneath you, and then they're like pulling you into the ground, and then sometimes they'll pull you away a little, but you can kind of break free and just kind of run away. And sometimes you'll have to go back and get your packages. But I haven't.
What difficulty did you play it on?
I just played it on normal.
Oh, and I played it on hard.
Yeah,
so
maybe that's different for you, but
they kind of get you. If they get you more than once, it's over.
Yeah.
Like I can get away usually once, but after that, nope. It's fight time.
Yeah, it does seem like a game that maybe you would want to play on hard if you're someone that likes more of a challenge, because I played it on normal and I didn't feel like I was really, as far as the combat itself, wasn't very challenging throughout any part of the game for me, for most of it at least. I mean, there were, yeah.
I'm glad I've stuck with hard then. I almost swapped over at one point. I was like, oh, this is becoming a little daunting and overwhelming
that's why
one point.
One of the reasons I didn't want to do hard, because it's such a long, big game to begin with, that just adding on to that would just make it that much longer.
So, you coming from you, Matt, who did go through the entirety of the game, you didn't, falter or sell it or give up or anything like that. Is this a game that, did you enjoy it though? Did you at least enjoy the ride, enjoy the experience, despite it not being necessarily fun or maybe not even for you? Is this a game that you would recommend to someone like me, maybe?
I would have a hard time recommending this to people. I enjoyed it just because it was so mysterious. It's kind of, it was the big happening going on at the moment. And just how weird everything that Kojima does. You never really knew what was going to happen next. And sometimes there would be things that you'd be like, wow, I did not see that coming. There's a couple of really cool set pieces I'm not going to talk about that are just kind of came out of nowhere. And I was
Thank you.
I was like, wow, that's super cool. That's why you come to these games, because Kojima's not going to give you, he's not going to give you a straight nothing. He's going to annoy you. He's going to surprise you. He's going to pull at your heartstrings. He's going to disappoint you.
But you said in the end, it kind of didn't live up to the hype of the game playing through, in the end.
Yeah, it didn't. When I was finally done with the game and I put so many hours into it at the end, I just didn't feel like it felt like a game that was really leaning on the storyline, which I don't think was the strongest that he's ever done or that I've seen in video games in general. So I think that's where it kind of fell apart for me at the end, where I can't really say this is an amazing game or a great game.
Simply the fact that the gameplay was definitely, I think by most people's standards, pretty mediocre, so you were hoping that the story was going to be that much more epic to kind of counterbalance that, and you didn't feel like it pulled it off.
Because it's such a long game that the action's not going to grab you alone, so you kind of need something else. So a lot of what kept me going was that mystery of what's next, and it's a game that I can't ever see playing again. I've played the Metal Gears, most of them a bunch of times, but I can't see doing that, in part because, like I said, the story was a little bit underwhelming, in part because the just the gameplay itself is so slow and methodical that it's like I don't want to do another 40 hours or whatever. However
Dan,
many hours you want to play of that.
I know you're only on like chapter 3, but you seem like you're having like the opposite reaction to it. You're just enjoying every single moment of it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely going to be frustrations. I mean,
it is charming.
It is, and I mean, I've had some frustrations. Like I plant the ladder, and then I climb up the ladder, but the ladder wasn't connected to the mountain very well, so I end up like climbing right over the ladder and falling down. And then on top of that, the baby doesn't shut the hell up. I knew that was going to be a problem. Every time you fall, like, so if you fall, like it's a decent fall. It's not like if you slip on a rock or something. But every time, like, you fall, you gotta freaking take the baby out. You gotta shake the damn thing. You can't shake it too fast. Found that out the hard way. So I freaking shook the thing. I'm like, shut up.
That sounds like some Red Dead Redemption 2 bullshit I'm hearing right now.
Yeah,
it kind of gives you the incentive, like, all right, maybe I really shouldn't do this over and over and over again because it's just annoying. So it kind of pushed me to, like, all right, screw it. I'm not going to try it a 5th time because I don't feel like stopping, taking the baby off, do this. That only happens if you're, like, just being, like, just absolutely fucking around, like, oh, whatever.
You mean like trying to have fun in the game, or
no? Just like I said, I tried to put like a ladder that extended, and from the way it looked, I was like, oh, I can probably sit in that crevice.
Oh, so you were trying to like be crafty with it.
I was trying to be, I was trying to like, oh, I'm gonna use 3 ladders. I'm gonna go straight up this mountain, and I'm gonna do it. And then I put the first one down. I land, and it's like, oh, it's pretty flat, and then my character just slips off the hill and loses everything. And on top of that, the packages take damage. And
so wait, are they disposable, or do you have to like get them back?
What,
the ladders? The
Oh,
ladders.
so you plant you basically plant them, and each thing carries a certain amount of weight and space. I feel like the biggest thing is space, especially where I'm at. They take up a slot, and you can only get it so high. I mean, it already looks absolutely ridiculous, but you can only have it so high on your back. So you don't want to carry like 15 ladders because it's taking up important like inventory space. So you kind of want to, and on top of that, running back and having to go get more ladders is an absolute pain in the ass. Yeah, you could run back and put like 17 ladders if you wanted, but it's going to be a waste of your time and your resources to do that. So if you can, like, when you plant like a few ladders and like anchors like perfectly, and that's all your resources, and then you get back and you drop the package off, you're like, man, I feel good. Like, that was perfect. I planned that out perfectly. It's very like rewarding type of game, like Dark Souls is one of those games that, yeah, technically the moment to moment gameplay is not, extremely invigorating and whatever, but the payoff is huge for me at least. Same thing with Dark Souls, and there's a lot of moments that when I complete it and I get like the highest ranking, that I'm like, fuck yeah, like I friggin' work my ass off to get this done. Same thing with like a Dark Souls type of game where it's like, all right, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna plan, I'm gonna fight this guy, I'm gonna bring X amount of heals or whatever, and I beat him. Booyah! There's not many games that, Call of Duty, when I beat it, I wasn't like, yeah, like, whoa, that was tough. Like, it was just kind of like, all right, yep, killing, yep, all right, crazy cool story, but it I don't know, a lot of games feel really easy to beat, and this game did not. Like, you actually had...
Well, you're also playing it on hard, which I'm sure amplifies that a bit.
It may. I mean, I'm hitting at least for me, I'm hitting a lull of, like, how difficult it is. But, I mean, I'm still every now and then getting challenged, like, oh crap, I didn't plan accordingly, so now I need to go out of my way and find a ladder that somebody planted or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of one of the magical parts of this game that we haven't mentioned yet. Is like you'll be struggling to get somewhere, and instead of having to carry 15 ladders on your back, you'll see someone that had built like this nice path with 2 ladders and then a rope for you to climb up on top, where you're like, and then you see like a bunch of likes on it. You can go up to it and like it. You can give them a bunch of likes like you would on like Facebook or something.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes you'll go back to something that you built a long time ago and see a bunch of likes from someone else.
Originally, I thought that idea was
kind of cute.
Really kind of stupid. I was like, oh, great, I got a like. And now, like, because I've had so many things put down, now I get this. So, I don't know, it's something about Hideo Kojima. He loves having, like, all the stats, like, pop up on the friggin' screen. So whenever you turn the game on after a little while, you just see a whole bunch of stats, like, this person liked your ladder. And I know it sounds really stupid, but after, like, holy crap, like, I just got, like, 15,000 likes from a ladder that I put down, like, 20 minutes ago or something like that. It's neat, and it shows like, all right, I put that in a good area, and a lot of people are using it, so that feels cool.
Yeah, and it'll be like every once in a while, like you'll be running around, and if you get your BB out of a dangerous area or something, you'll get a like from your BB, which is also, I just found really like charming
goofy.
And funny.
Yeah, he's like gives you one like. That's it, one.
Do you guys think that the story is going to be enough for me to keep going through this game to the end?
I don't think so.
Because Matt, you
I don't know.
more or less begrudgingly finish games, and Dan, I know you're enjoying it, but
And I don't want to be like, again, I don't want to feel biased about like, oh, I love Metal Gear Solid, so I'm absolutely going to love this game. I had some, like Metal Gear Solid 5, I never had a moment where I didn't like the game until the very end, where I was
so much that you had to come into Andy's room at 3 a.m. and
sorry you needed to know.
Wake you up and start screaming, and
I didn't scream that.
The story gets worse every time I tell it.
Yeah. So I don't want to seem like, oh, I'm just like hypnotized by like Kojima's game or whatever. Like, no, I can totally see how this game is frustrating and time consuming.
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to time consuming. Like it almost feels like this game doesn't really respect your time that much, because it seems like it's doing something in, dozens upon dozens of hours that it could do in half the time, but it's just this intentional slog where they're just making you travel across the literal entire country from east to west.
So are you saying he made a full-length feature film and then decided it wasn't long enough, so it's like just add in some walking?
No, I don't
That'll
think
make
so.
It was long enough. You just added too much walking.
See, I love the map. I mean, I think toward, I don't even want to explain how deep I am to the game, but I want to feel like I haven't touched most of it yet. So, because like I said, I keep wanting to 100% areas before I kind of move to the next one.
Yeah, that sounds crazy to me.
Oh, I love it.
Did you not do that, Matt?
I do that in other games, but I could not do that in this game.
I love it. I love getting rid of all the packages and then just go out with
nothing. Are you
nothing.
trying to get 5 stars at all the stations? Oh my god.
Yeah, so I'm close.
You're not going to be done with this game by the end of the year.
I love it. I'm getting my money's worth. I'm doing even the premium. So there's, Andy, you might like this too. So you deliver the package, you have a normal like challenge. Like here it is. You take 50% damage or less to your cargo and deliver 1. And then the premium one is harder. It's do 20% or less damage to the cargo and deliver 2. So you put twice as many on and do less damage. So I love doing that. So I'm getting like the it's like Legend of Legends, I think they call it. And each time you do one successfully, they like multiply your thing times whatever. So that makes it like if you do one really good one, that can, jump your score up a lot.
I'm just wondering with you if this is just a temporary high. Because
first
I brought up Kingdom Hearts earlier before the podcast, and you were very confused as to why I brought up Kingdom Hearts, and I said, "Ooh, I'll save it for the podcast."
Yeah, I do wonder like how much of this game is getting, because some of these reviews I think are just unwarranted, like the 10s out of 10s. Like, is there a big Kojima bump of people that are like, "I need this game to be good"?
Just as much as the 0 out of 10s.
Well,
yeah, true. It's neither of those.
There's a lot of neat, intricate things that I'm impressed by. Like,
hang on, let me finish the point.
Go ahead.
So I brought up Kingdom Hearts. So about sometime last year, you started picking up Kingdom Hearts again out of nowhere. And, this was, believe this was before the podcast had even started. And you're like, yeah, I think Kingdom Hearts 3 had just come out. You're like, I'm having a lot of fun with it and all this other stuff. I'm like, yeah, I watched Ashley play Kingdom Hearts, my girlfriend play Kingdom Hearts 3 the other day, and it looked just god-awful. Like, it was just repetitive music, repetitive everything. And then after I had said that, you went back and you're like, yeah, you kind of ruined the game for me. Like now that I know, like all these things.
No, the key word you said, or the key thing you said.
You were hang on. You were having an extreme high at first, but then it wore off, and you realized, and then you didn't even end up finishing the game.
Well, you said, Dan, because I was getting frustrated at one point.
Yeah.
And you said, Dan, if you're not having fun, why continue playing it?
Yeah.
And I said, that's a good point. And I sat down, I go, you know what? This game is clunky, because it was the original Kingdom Hearts just remade.
Yeah.
And it kind of...
Not one of the 8 times they remade that first game.
So that was one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to just kind of watch a YouTube video and get to Kingdom Hearts 3. Is just because that gameplay is so much better and less clunky than the older games. And I'm starting to realize I have less and less patience for like some of the old clunky like controls of other games. I have
It
something
can be
about
hard to go back.
Yeah, it's hard to go back. Some games I do not have that problem, like the old Resident Evils, the HD remakes and stuff. For some reason, those tank controls still are okay to me. But I really don't think this is a high because, like I said, I've sat down there and Sunday I played it for almost the whole day. And it was the same kind of map. I wasn't really doing anything extremely different. It was just all these little challenges kept popping up. And I was like, you know what? I want to do this. And I really thought, because I get frustrated when you have to be really careful. And at the very end, you can fuck it up. So, kind of like the game of golf, where at the very end, you can do great for the whole way. And then at the very end, if at one point I was walking into a shelter, my thing was too high and it whacked off.
I can't tell if we're talking about golf or the game.
No, we're talking about the Death Stranding.
Okay.
So there's these little shelters or whatever, and they have this little opening. But the game is very realistic with, if you touch something with your, if thing's too high, it's not going to, walk through it. It's going to whack it, the items off your back. So I went in I'm just going to walk in and half my stuff just toppled over. And I'm like, fuck. So it made me extra cautious. Even walking under a bridge one time, I didn't even think about it. I was like, la-da-da-da-da, and all of a sudden half my stuff fell off. I was like, son of a bitch.
I blame 3 things for how I feel about games nowadays. I blame IGN, I blame Final Fantasy 15, and I blame Red Dead Redemption 2.
Wow, okay. Explain.
So I was listening to Game Scoop a long time ago, IGN Game Scoop. It's the only podcast aside from, I listened to Nintendo Voice Chat a little bit too, but Game Scoop is the one I listen to from them from time to time. And they were talking about Final Fantasy 15. They were talking about, this one guy was talking about kind of like Matt, I love completing games. I'll always go through them. And I was a few hours into this, and I'm just like, I can't do it. Do I want to waste my time playing something that's clearly I'm not enjoying? Unless, and that's when I listened to that, and I'm like, that is exactly how I'm feeling. I'm trading this in. And Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a game I was so unbelievably hyped for. Granted, Red Dead Redemption 2, I haven't sold or anything. It's still there. I'm still waiting to go back into it and kind of give it that fair chance. But it was the same thing where it's now I'm so overthinking it when I play games nowadays. Borderlands 3, I got to the second area and I'm playing. And I'm like, this isn't fun. I'm just kind of going through the motions. I'm not really accomplishing anything. The story was just fine, I guess. This game's a little different. So far, and Matt and I were listening to a podcast on the road the other day, and I think this guy, who were you listening to that was describing?
I forget
his experience. Well,
there's a bunch of them.
This
Giant
guy.
Bomb?
No, it wasn't that. They hated it.
Yeah, they all hated it.
This guy was describing Death Stranding in a way where he's like, I didn't get this game because I knew it wasn't going to be for me, but I can acknowledge how great it is because kind of like what Matt and you were both saying, it's just a different experience, a different type of game, and that's the part of me that wants to play it just because Final Fantasy 7 was just not Final Fantasy 7. Final Fantasy 7 is a masterpiece. Final Fantasy 15 was just an RPG that was so. Red Dead Redemption 2 was just a Rockstar game that was way too ultra realistic. This seems like it's its own type of thing, whereas not just to be in the happening. We got to make a T-shirt for that. Not just to be in the happening, but I want to have this unique experience. That's what's pushing me to want to play it, and I really hope I can play through the whole thing because I almost feel with Borderlands 3, was it me not giving it enough chance, or was it really just was the experience going to be really any that different at the end of the game than what I was experiencing a quarter of the way in, And I pulled the trigger on that. I don't think that's what I'm going to go through with Outer Worlds. There's a ton of other video games where that hasn't happened. I think I've just maybe Death Stranding is the answer to me because I've just become so bored with just kind of the repeat games over and over again. Unless I know what I'm getting into, Call of Duty, I bought just for the multiplayer. I'm getting that, and I'm still having fun with it, especially after the recent balance changes. So, we'll see. I'm definitely gonna play it. It sounds like Dan's not gonna be done with it by year's end, so I might have to actually rent it or buy it used or something like that just to play it.
I'll be done with it by year's end, but I mean,
before our game of the year.
Not at this rate.
You'll
have to stop cutting some of those quests. I'm not going to tell you how far you are, but you're not far.
Good. Oh, I'm so excited. I just want to go play now. No, good. I like that.
Sounds like Dan's not going to be playing a lot of Call of Duty with me.
I have to 5-star 2 more people at the very first map. So I gotta go through and do that. Every now and then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to that map. I'm gonna do 2, and then I get addicted and I do 2 more, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done with that area. I'm gonna go to the next one.
So Matt, unless there's something else you guys want to say about Death Stranding,
I'm sure we'll be talking about it for weeks and weeks to come.
I have just one question, and this is for Matt as well.
All right.
Actually, this is mostly at Matt.
Yep. Go away, Andy.
No, Andy, you stay because it's about you.
Oh man.
I'm very curious as to what's about to occur.
How much
So
do you
Andy's
hate this
gonna
guy?
play it, right?
Yes.
Do you think he's gonna beat it?
No.
I actually agree with you. No, I don't think you're gonna.
no.
No. It's not because...
Not beat it before year's end, just in general.
No.
I don't think you will
No, I don't
leave
think
this earth having beaten Death Stranding.
No, I don't think you
Ever.
It's not an insult to you, but like you said,
No, I just don't think I really.
You don't play games that you don't like. You don't waste your time. Like
Yeah,
a lot of that.
My time is a precious
But
commodity.
now, wait a minute. Now, is this going to invigorate him, kind of like what you do to me, where you're like, oh, Dan, you're not going to finish these games because you haven't beat these 7.
Yeah, that was reverse psychology.
Exactly, and that worked. But I don't...
I'm not going to force myself to play something just to prove you guys wrong.
No, and this game is not one to force yourself if, like I said...
So not even you. You don't even think I'm going to beat it.
I don't think you're going to be... I don't think it's going to hold your interest. I think you will play it for a while, and I think you'll get the gist of it, and I think you're going to be like, you know what?
Yeah.
If what
It's
Matt's
not for
saying
me.
is true
Because,
about the
I mean,
story, and it doesn't really live up to the hype of the story, that's the reason I really wanted to play it in the beginning anyways. And if that's even going to end up falling flat.
Well, see, the other thing...
But then again, Matt, you skip most stories in most games, though.
They're just always talking about nonsense.
Are you really the one?
I want to kill things.
Are you really the
walk-
one to rate stories in games?
I gotta get packages someplace. I gotta be somewhere.
That is like I can understand Matt not enjoying it because like you said, Dan,
No, I mean we say that I skip the stories, and I do a lot
in other games.
with
I didn't
dumb
say
games,
with this
but
game.
like I didn't skip any of the videos in Metal Gear Solid. I didn't skip any of the videos in Death Stranding. Like I do when it's an interesting story with good characters. Like I'll watch all the videos and cutscenes and things like that. I just think some of them just kind of
You
get.
just counter what he just...
I'm just wondering what game I was watching where it was like a really heavy story game and you're just like click, 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 click. It could have been anything. But there was like one game in particular where I'm like, oh, wow, you're just skipping through this text.
Assassin's
You're like,
Creed
I don't
Odyssey?
care. I don't remember. It could have been anything.
Odyssey is one of those games
I
where
would
I
probably
was like,
skip
all
it.
right,
It
skip
could have been
skip,
Days
skip.
Gone. It could
Like
have
if it was
been
Days Gone-
Odyssey.
No, I watched the cutscenes in Days Gone.
Yeah, so did I. I enjoyed that one.
That's one of the games that came out this year, wasn't it?
Days Gone, yep.
Yeah,
that
I'll
was
have to-
January?
Early this year, I forget when.
Do either of you still have it, right, Dan?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, great. All right, so unless you guys have something else you want to talk about with Death Stranding.
No.
Okay.
That was just it, yeah.
What else have you been playing?
I played through like the first 2/3 of Luigi's Mansion 3, which I was kind of bummed about because I didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to enjoy it.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why you gameflied it, though. Which
Yeah,
is
I
good.
gameflied it, and then I just gameflied it back, which was nice. So it's what you would expect. It's the same thing as the Luigi's Mansions games. The whole thing seems to take place in one hotel, and they do some interesting things. Like a lot of the floors are kind of themed. So obviously this doesn't make sense, but there's like a theme that's set in like a night world with different nights back in the old times. There's one that's set in
like Night with a K.
yes,
Okay.
and then there's one
gotcha.
that's like set in like a world with bunch of different flowers and plants and things like that. So there's like themes to all the floors that you have to go on, which kind of adds some variety to the gameplay. But I think what ultimately annoyed me about it was, so it's a lot of different puzzles and mechanics, but they don't really kind of
Gel.
they don't. There's almost too many mechanics. So with your vacuum, you can suck, you can blow, you can use a flashlight.
We're 12-year-olds.
Yes, you are. You can use like a flashlight to blind people. You can use this other. It's almost like a black light that lets you see things that aren't there.
Ugh. In a hotel?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds so horrible.
Stop it. You can
Flashlight,
It's
black
like a
light.
Nintendo game.
You can use like a plunger to shoot at things, and then you can like suck the plunger up, and it'll pull pieces of the wall or pieces of the furniture around, and it gets to the
That
point
one
where
wasn't dirty.
so you just get so many different things that you can do, and you enter like a puzzle room, and it never feels like, oh, that's what I have to do here. So I'm basically just going through this list of like, okay, here's 8 things that I have to try on every piece of furniture because I don't know which one I need to use. It's not like, oh, if it has a star, then you use the blacklight thing on it. It's just
Oh, so you kind of wasted a lot of time.
Yeah, I never got the hang
guessing.
of what I was supposed to be doing in any particular situation. So it was a lot of like, in RPGs when you get stuck, when you're just kind of like walking around the map, just pressing X on everything, like something has to interact.
Oh, yeah, you're just
I'm
trying
trying
to
to get
find
out of the
something,
cell and I don't know where it is. It felt like almost every room after the first couple worlds, which were floors, which were easier. It was just kind of a matter of process of elimination, and I wasn't really trying to like solve anything.
It didn't feel rewarding, though.
Yeah, it didn't feel rewarding at all. I was like, I'm just like frustrated at how long it's taking me to get out of this room. And then when I do it, I'm not like, I was never like, oh, I should have been able to think of that. It was just like, oh, I had to do that 8 things over and over until I got to the one they wanted me to do. And then there was even 1 or 2 times, especially during the bosses, where I would do what I think I'm supposed to do. Like I use the flashlight to blind someone, but if you don't do it at just the right time, it won't work. So then, I think you must not have to blind them. And then I'm trying every other thing. And then, I'll go back to the blinding thing. And like after 4 or 5 tries, it'll finally work the right way that it was supposed to. So I don't think it really, does a good job of telegraphing what exactly you're supposed to do in any situation, or, gives you any hints to how you should solve any particular puzzle.
So did you not really enjoy it at all, or was it just fine?
It was okay. Like I feel like I enjoyed the first few floors, and then it just kind of got more monotonous. Like it just felt like they were kind of putting things in my way to, just pad the game to an extent. So I don't know. I was just kind of disappointed as someone that really liked the first 2. And actually, I think the game got pretty decent reviews, so I was a little surprised too.
Yeah, it's both user and critic reviews are pretty high.
Yeah. It's that Nintendo bump. Everyone's getting the bump.
It's Dana's open critic open right now.
Yeah, right now it's sitting for the critic average. It's an 86.
Yeah, so I mean,
and recommended to 95%. Jesus.
Maybe other people would like that. It was charming. It was cute, like those, the characters and.
Was it a bit of it just didn't live up to your memories of the original one, too? Did that play into it at all?
I don't know. I don't think so, because the 3DS one only came out like 4 or 5 years ago, right? And I really enjoyed that one. I felt like that was, much more fun, kind of puzzles and
better representation.
Exploration. Yeah. So, I mean, I just think this one's weaker than the other ones.
That's unfortunate.
But, yeah.
Anything else you've been playing?
I think the only thing else I've been playing was Link's Awakening, but I'll just let you talk about that because I think you've been playing more, right, recently?
Yes.
And jump in with
I have a lot to
I
have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
With that.
I think I'm done.
Didn't you downloaded a game yesterday though? Did you not play it yet? Celeste, was it?
Oh, I heard great things about that.
No,
sorry.
Oh,
it wasn't
Concrete
Celeste.
Genie.
Concrete Genie.
Oh, okay.
I've heard.
So I had that on.
things about that.
I had that on GameFly, and I actually just returned it because I thought it was a VR game, like a fully VR game, but I guess it just has like a VR mode in it. So the game itself, the main game, you're not playing in VR. It's just a regular, like 3D action platformer.
Was it good though?
I only played it for like 15 minutes, and it was so slow. And after playing Death Stranding, I just couldn't take it. So I was like, I'm not doing this. I wanted a VR game. I wanted to just do something quick, and I just couldn't handle it. So I can't really
pop an Astrobot.
I can't really speak to the quality overall, but I don't think it didn't seem like it was for me.
What does Open Critic say about that?
Which one?
You were looking at.
Oh, sorry,
else.
They just had the reviews up for the new Pokemon game that just came out.
We'll talk about that a little bit
But,
later. Did you play anything else besides Death Stranding?
No, I just been playing Modern Warfare with you.
Yeah, and they did the balance changes that we were complaining about.
Which people are still complaining, which is kind of funny.
How on the shotgun or the
shotgun? Because I guess what they did is from what a lot of people are saying.
Just to give everybody like a heads up, we're talking about Modern Warfare. They have the 725 double barrel old style shotgun. The issue with it was not only the power but the range of the weapon, and it's been an issue in like every Call of Duty. This one shotgun, it's been a bug up their ass for quite a while. I noticed less people using it when we played yesterday after the update. So what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think the update scared some people away from using it, but I guess from what some people are saying is they reduced the range, but I guess they increased the power to balance it.
What?
So that's what
It was already a one-shot kill?
I know. Well,
oh my God.
That's what people are saying. So
oh my
Now
God,
it's a half-shot kill.
Activision.
When you spawn, your second character dies too.
yeah, it's a double death.
Oh, jeez.
So I don't.
I'm still enjoying the game.
I'm still enjoying
Still
it.
fun.
I mean, it's
First Call of Duty I've had fun doing the multiplayer with a while. So, even despite the shotgun, I found ways around it. I just don't get too, kind of like in real life, I just don't get too close to people.
Yeah,
Arm's
just like
length.
that sniper guy that you had a obsession with
let's
for
not
the
talk about
entire
him.
round.
So I, for once, it's been a while since I've talked about a game I've been playing because I've been just playing dumb bullshit like Call of Duty and stupid phone games. I spent a better part of the weekend, or my Sunday and Monday anyways, playing Link's Awakening. Now, I know initially on this podcast we had talked about the fact that 5 people thought I should play the original first and continue that. But I realized if we're going to be talking about games of the year coming up at the end of the year, I think it really works more towards me to play it rather than wait. And honestly, I don't think it's really going to hurt my experiment anyways. And, this is coming from someone who, again, has not played the original, so I have no preconceptions about this game whatsoever. So anything I'm about to say is not spoiler territory. It's merely speculative on what the future might hold. It seems like it's all going to be a dream or something. So I'm wondering, just about to get to Dungeon 3.
Oh, so we're at the same spot.
Yeah. So it seems like the special edition is called the Dreamer Edition. It seems like it's got some wacky things going on, and I'm like, I wonder if like Link's just gonna wake up and be like, I got hit in the head with a coconut.
I'll be very
whatever.
pissed if that is.
But it doesn't really seem like it's connected enough to the main universe where anything I do in this game is really gonna matter.
Are any of them connected to a main universe?
Well,
I feel like it's.
I
all
guess you'll
very
have to listen to
shoehorned.
the next episode of Link Between Zeldas to find out. I haven't done an episode in a while, but no, that's what I was kind of doing in those playing through the games in chronological order. Was I was trying to see, are there those connections? Is it all just bullshit, or does it actually connect? Did they just decide to come up with it out of nowhere, or was there this like long-standing connection between Zelda games? But getting back to Link's Awakening, I love it. It's a great game. It definitely feels like a game that was originally on the Game Boy, and I mean that in a good way, not a bad way. And I already had some pre-notions about this game. Like I already knew that there was like Mario characters shoved in there, like the Chain Chomp and stuff
it's very
like that.
weird.
Oh yeah,
and it's like a lot of games didn't do that back then. It's kind of more.
Yeah,
it was more bizarre even when that happened.
You could tell the game definitely came in a transition period for the franchise too, because if you think about it, the only 2 games that preceded it were Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. Now, Zelda 1 was a very, like, you're in this open area game, very, very, going through the dungeons, very open world. And then the second game was a little different. Zelda 2 is like the redheaded stepchild of the universe almost, where it was like part open world, part side scroller, very different experience. That's one of the ones I'm looking forward to most to playing.
one of my favorites.
One of Dan's favorites. I know a couple of people who have beaten it, and I've heard it's very difficult to do so.
Oh crap!
This game kind of seemed like a bridge between those two, because it is an open world game, but you do suddenly have these like side scrolling, very very Mario-esque areas. It's definitely not on the same level side scrolling as Link's 2, but you can definitely tell that it was because it came out. I believe it came out before A Link to the Past, as like in real time.
Did it really?
Link to the Past. Let's find out right now, because Link to the Past came out on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
This came off the original Game Boy?
Yes.
Yeah, and then it came out on the Game Boy Color.
Yeah, but that was the redone edition. So A Link... Oh, you know what? A Link to the Past came out in 91, so Link's Awakening might have actually come out after that.
I feel like they use the same world.
Probably...
No.
It's the same. I feel like it's the same overlap.
No, it's A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds had the same overworld, like same exact overworld. This is different.
Oh, see, I felt... Well, yeah,
it was
right.
actually released 2 years afterwards on the Game Boy. So they're probably developed around the same time though.
It felt like the same style. Like the top left was like the forest, and the top part was the mountain.
Oh,
general.
I mean, Link Between Worlds. It was like
That's
exact.
like half the Zelda game.
That is
Link Between Worlds had the exact same overworld as Link to the Past, like to a T.
Oh yeah. Well, I just saying general.
Yeah. It's a very cute, charming game. I haven't had the same issue as you, Dan, where I know you were very. I wouldn't say issue, but you're like, I wish I could move a little faster.
I feel it's a little bit sluggish sometimes especially when I know where I need to go, and it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, I can.
Because
traveling is a little bit.
The Super Nintendo, you had that charge, so you could kind of use it as like I'm just gonna charge
absolutely.
through.
Well, you get that in Link's Awakening at some point.
Oh,
so,
you do? Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
Okay.
Dan's really
All
excited
right,
about
problem
that.
solved.
But I haven't even really had a real issue with that, I would say.
Well, I got lost at one point.
the only-
I stopped paying attention to what I was supposed to do, and I put it down for a little while. So then I was running around like, I don't know what to do. So then I found that little telephone area, and I was like, oh, now I know what to do.
Yeah,
was the telephone in the original, Matt?
I don't think so.
I don't remember. That was a long.
So I heard that they added hints into this one, and I know there's the owls in the dungeon, and then there's the telephone booths, and I don't
That
know if
might be
either
new.
one of those were in the original.
Yeah, that's the one part of this game that can be a little frustrating sometimes because it is kind of a big open world map, and sometimes you don't know where to go, and you go to like some place in the top left of the map, and you're trying to figure out what you need, like what key, you need a key to get into that dungeon, or maybe there's a plant blocking your way that you have to find a way to get rid of, and so a lot of the times you feel like you're just kind of walking around lost trying to figure out what to do, and that's where you can go to those phones. It'll sometimes give you a decent hint, but sometimes they're just not very good hints that don't really point in the right direction.
Grumble.
And I don't know
Yeah.
if maybe I haven't had this issue because maybe I haven't put it down for a long enough period of time, but so far I haven't had anything that's like just outright stumped me. One of the things I did find very interesting about the game is, unlike any other Zelda game I've ever played, you can skip rooms and dungeons and still beat the boss. That eluded the hell out of me. Like in dungeon number 2, because you keep getting keys in the dungeons, and the dungeons are very you could tell it was from a Game Boy game almost, because each dungeon is almost like the same size room. There's not too much going on in each one, but you get these just 1,000 keys. Those are really the only items you really find in the dungeons aside from the map and the compass. And there was dungeon number 2. I incidentally skipped over the room with the compass, and I still went to the boss and beat him, but there wasn't another key in the dungeon for me to open that room. So I'm like, that's very strange that I could just like do that and it won't like really affect me in the end, you know?
Oh,
Yeah, there's definitely different ways to go around each dungeon. Like you can do things in completely different orders. And to that effect, you can skip getting the compass, you can skip getting the map.
Yeah.
But it does seem like they made it so that you can't actually not be able to complete it at any point. So you can use, your key on maybe a non-important door, but there'll always be another key for you to get somewhere else.
Yeah, or at least get to the boss, because like I think that's what happened is like I had 2 keys and I didn't know which direction I should go, so I just chose a random direction. Whereas Ocarina of Time, I feel like no matter what you had to open, you could not complete the dungeon without also getting the compass or the map.
I always feel like in Ocarina of Time,
Or at least you got to at least you got to the room that housed it along the way, no matter what.
I always felt like they gave you the compass like after you fought an enemy in Ocarina of Time, especially when you're an adult.
No, I think they were just in like it might have been after you fought a boss.
I remember like you fight those lizard things, and it was like you beat it, and it's like, oh yeah, there's the compass.
Yeah,
And
that might have been.
It was very
a couple
like
times.
driven, like here it is.
As many times as I've played that games, I don't remember exactly which room every single compass was in, so I couldn't.
No, I mean neither.
tell ya.
No, I just felt like it was always like you fought an enemy, you finished them off, and then they emphasized here it is.
Yeah.
Whereas in the older games, I mean, if you know what you're doing in the older games, you could just skip it. You could be
Yeah.
like, oh, I know this direction. All the way at the very end is just this. I don't need that, so I don't need a coin or whatever. I'm just going to skip that part.
And music continues to be a big theme in the Zelda games, because like this, you're going around the dungeons collecting instruments, and I'm in kind of a pickle now because I just got Outer Worlds, but I don't want to put this game down. Having too much fun with
I
it.
would finish it. It's fun. It's not. I mean, it is a big game, but it's not too.
It's not too expensive.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not
it was
too
on the
crazy.
original Game Boy,
Yeah.
so it couldn't have
Isn't
been
there
too
like
long.
7 dungeons, or is it a lot more than that?
It's something like that, 7 or 8. And
Yeah,
actually,
because
one
I
of the
think they told me how many instruments I need to get. It was like 6 or 7.
yeah,
But
I think
the
it might be
dungeons
8.
feel quick.
But yeah, so one of the things I was curious about before I started this game, I actually played it originally on the Game Boy Color, and for that version, they added like a special color dungeon that you can play, and this does in fact include that color dungeon.
Yeah, I did read that. Yeah.
So, which is kind of cool, but it also feels a little like it's semi-game breaking because you can do it. It's somewhere mid-game that you can unlock this this extra dungeon, and when you beat it, you get the choice between either having a suit that's like red or blue instead of green, and one of them the red one gives you like twice as much attack power, and the blue one gives you twice as much defense.
so
Oh,
that makes
that
the
was-
rest of the game pretty easy.
So yeah, I took the defense one, which I because a lot of the enemies take like one hit or something, and you can get really stuck in some dungeons sometimes with enemies that are hitting you a lot. So I took the defense one, and it kind of did make the most of the rest of the game, besides maybe like the last.
See, I might skip
dungeon.
that then, because I don't want to make the whole game like too easy.
That's
Yeah.
actually funny because I think that's a homage to the original Nintendo game, because there was 2 rings. There was a red one and a blue one that you could find. They were very rare. I don't think I've ever found the red.
Well, not if that's I haven't played the original.
But
Zelda
when you got that
yet.
ring, you turned to one of those two colors.
But if you think about it, that's also future Zelda games. That's usually the 3 tunics you see are the blue, green, and red. That's also the 3 goddesses are blue, green, and red. That's also the 3 stones are blue, green, and red. That's like the color scheme you see throughout most of the games.
But no, that is kind of funny though that it was just those because I mean if you think about it chronologically, this game came out after Link's
chronologically
Awakening.
or in literal?
So not chronologically. Sorry, time wise, that it came out. This is the fourth game, and I don't recall in any of the first 3 games that you could change tunics or whatever. Well, excuse me.
I only
you
played
could change between the original one. You could change the color.
The only other game I played that came out prior to this game was Link to the Past, and I do not recall being able to change tunics in that game.
Yeah, so the very first Zelda, you can potentially change it to one of 2 colors, but it's permanent. Like, once you get it, it's permanent.
Like you throw in a pot of dye.
I believe in this.
Yeah, it's just like you kind of like, you get the ring and you walk out of the wherever you find it, and then you change colors. One of them is like purple. It's kind of like a purple bluish looking color.
I believe you can go back to the dungeon and switch which outfit you're in, so you can probably go back to
that's
green or
kinda neat.
blue. But
And that's funny because that more or less plays into the next game that came out, which was Ocarina of Time, where you could get 2 other tunics that had 2 different effects: one breathing underwater, one resistant to fire damage.
yeah, I kind of wish they had given you just like an extra heart point, like they do with the other dungeons, as opposed to this kind of super overpowered tunic that kind of trivializes some of the gameplay.
That they added that in the Game Boy Color version because the game was too hard, or just kind of to make them want to buy the same game again? Like, hey, it comes with a new dungeon. Ooh.
Yeah, I think it seems like more is just like kind of a fun like extra that they put into it. I didn't feel like the game itself was overall hard. It seems like it was, of average difficulty. I didn't think I would say it would be easy or hard.
Like,
you can get through it if you put the time in. You're gonna die a few times.
I've definitely had to think outside of the box a bit more than I would in maybe say like a Link to the Past or Ocarina of Time even.
Really?
With some of the puzzles, I don't want to.
These ones are simple. Like,
well, it seems simple to me, but it's still something where it's like, oh, I don't know if like 10 years ago I would have thought to do that. Like,
plus the dungeons they do a good job of getting kind of sequentially harder as you go. So the last couple
I
are
only
pretty.
finished the third one, so I mean,
well,
it felt
I saw, and this is no like
puzzles.
spoiler, but like there was a bundle of sticks, and I'm like, oh, I know I have to light these on fire, and I'm like, screw it, I'll try this magic dust. Oh, that worked. Okay, and it's like that was the first thing I thought of, but like that doesn't really make any sense.
I still don't know what that crap does.
Yeah, they do. Well, that's what I'm saying. You have to think outside of the box with some of the stuff.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that's for either. Like I played through it, and you use it sometimes, but it's like
you use it.
I forget I have it.
Use it to solve one of the first puzzles in the game. And I'm not going to spoil that one, but it's kind of just one of those things, which is why, again, that's why I'm saying think outside of the box. It's like, let me try this powder on this stick and see what happens. Oh, it lit it aflame.
Oh, okay. When you said like, I thought you meant just the puzzles were more difficult.
No, they're pretty simple.
That's why I was like, yeah, they're pretty simple.
But it does make you think outside of the box sometimes. I'll say.
Okay.
I felt that way with Skyward Sword with some of their puzzles too, which I really appreciated. Last thing on the game, I don't know if this is something that you guys noticed, but this really made me. This is the one thing where I'm like, oh, like this is really going for a bit of a retro feel to the game. So when you play a game like, did either of you play A Link Between Worlds, the one for the 3DS?
Yes, I have.
So when you move around that game as Link, and it's kind of the same structure where it's like top down in a little 3D world. Bird's eye view, yeah, in a 3D world. When you move around with that character, with that Link in that game, it's very smooth. In this game, there is only 8 directions Link points. The 4 directionals and the 4 corners. When you move him around in a circle, it locks to one of those 8 positions. It does not move smoothly. And I thought that was very interesting from like an artistic perspective, where it's like, oh, that's kind of like harking back to like a retro style where like they only had like the 8 sprites that you could be. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and like the pad that you would use on a Game Boy would be only those like 4, so you only had those 4 directionals plus 2 at the same time to get those corner ones. But yeah,
you'll notice that now, Dan, when you
I probably will.
The other thing is, and this is unfortunate because you would think with a game like this, like I know it is very pretty, but it's still pretty simple at the same time. Every time I enter the overworld, I notice lag every single time, and it's unfortunate because
It is surprising.
I love the Switch, and I don't think you get it on handheld mode as much. You played on handheld. Did you really get any lag with that in handheld mode?
No, I didn't get much lag except when you were like crossing from one zone to the next. You're like moving to a because it'll kind of load into the next area that you're going to be in, and it'll lag a little, and then also your peripheral vision, like around the corners, all the edges, it is a little bit more blurry than where you're looking, which seems kind of strange. Like,
I like that. I thought that was really neat that the edges were blurry. I thought that was kind of cool. Like it kind of played to like that, like you're on a island, like a sunny island, and like the miragey feel of the edges of the surface.
Yes, I don't know. It felt like it was just a little bit like they were just trying to avoid having to. Render all that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. You might be right, but yeah, it's unfortunate. And I know I've heard from people that Breath of the Wild. I never really played Breath of the Wild in handheld mode very much, but I heard it's a lot less laggy when you play in handheld mode. I think it's because it goes down to 720p.
Yeah,
that might be the reason. But it's just unfortunate, and it's one of the reasons why I really hope that they are going to eventually make like a really like beefed up Switch model that I can use, because I would like to play this game and have it not do that. And it didn't. I don't want to say it was like lag, like game shattering lag, but it definitely is noticeable.
Yeah.
And for a Nintendo game where Nintendo games are normally extremely polished, it did take away from it just a tad from time to time. But that's really my only like, negative comment about the game. The rest of it is like just great. And granted, it is a remake, but they did a really good job with it.
Oh, I love the flip. The little leaf thing.
The little jump.
That is fun.
Was that using the Mario feather from the original Mario
That's what
Kart?
I think I'm pretty sure I said that. Like, is this from like the Mario Kart where?
Well, because you used I think it was a different game we were playing where we used the feather.
Well, yeah, Mario Kart.
Oh,
the Super Mario, the one for the Super Nintendo, where you get that feather and it would just like flip. You'd like flip and rotate. And I was like, I don't know if this.
Yeah, I don't know which one came from which, really.
Yeah, so but
that's interesting.
I love the little flip mechanic. Half the time I'm just like I'm bored. I'm just like flip.
That's the only game I've been playing though. This week I'm going to sprinkle in some Outer Worlds. Dan's gonna be too busy walking and balancing, so we probably won't be playing as much Call of Duty.
No. Okay. Well, also tomorrow is Star Wars Fallen Jedi.
I don't want to think about that yet. It's too much. Too much going on.
I'm picking it up tomorrow.
Okay.
You're picking it up tomorrow?
Yep.
You're in the middle of playing.
When are you gonna play it? Like 2 months from now?
Yeah.
No, I'm excited for that one. I'm gonna balance between.
I didn't say.
I'm gonna balance
excited.
between that, Death Stranding, and Call of Duty.
Oh, so you will still play Call of Duty?
Absolutely. Hey, every time you've come on, I've stopped playing Death Stranding.
You know what?
Hop on.
That is true, Matt. That is true. Dan has always stopped what he's doing, unless it's eating, to come on and play Call of Duty with me.
That is true. I do need to eat. But no, I've had a lot of fun with Call of Duty. Even when I've been doing crappy, it's like, oh, you know what? I just need to change this. I mean,
last night you said that like you were having a rough time, and you're like, I think this is my last game, and then you're like, you know what? I don't want to end on a bad note. I'm going to go back to the scope I was using originally, and suddenly you were having fun again.
It was. So and that's what I think originally got me really excited about this one is there was so many different things that, you know what? It could be the scope, or it could be this attachment, because everything takes away and gives. Like there's a scope that makes you like, oh, it can zoom really far, but it takes your aim down the sight like a little bit slower. Same thing with like certain attachments. Like, yeah, it'll make your accuracy better, but it's gonna make the stability to like hold it move around a little bit. So it's give and take.
So Dan,
yeah,
just an update so everyone knows. On the list, and I have put
God.
Jedi Fallen Order on the list because you're going to be playing it in the coming days. You have beaten since we started doing this.
I also picked up 3 more. So
what did you pick? But you haven't started playing them.
No, I haven't started playing Devil May Cry either. A lot of
Devil May Cry 5?
Go through that list again, because I'll tell you which ones I've even put into my PlayStation.
That's an even worse problem, Dan.
Thank you. I have a list. All right, go through the list, please.
Devil May Cry 5.
Have not played it or installed it.
I know you've played Ultimate Alliance Wind Waker.
Yes, I have.
You have
Yes,
not
I
played
have.
Samus Returns.
I have.
You have played Samus Returns.
Yeah, I played
Shadows
about
Die Twice.
Oh, God, yeah.
Greedfall.
Yeah.
And you have played Link's Awakening, Death Stranding. You are playing Jedi
crap,
Fallen
I
Order.
need to
You're
finish
about to play in Outer Worlds. You haven't popped in yet.
No, Outer Worlds.
You haven't even popped in Devil May Cry 5? Matt has gotten up and didn't say a word. He's left the podcast.
Yeah, he did. Wow, that was sneaky.
He didn't even let's pause the podcast or anything. He just got up, went right out, made the door slam and everything. And we're gonna have a talk with him when he comes back.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm gonna call his mom.
But
I'm counting it. You bought it. You bought a new game that just came out. Devil May Cry 5 counts. Why would you buy it if you wanted to play it?
I didn't buy it new. I bought it pre-owned.
But around the time it came out.
No, I bought it for a lot cheaper. I waited, believe me, and I only got it for like $20.
Matt.
I got it at a good price. That's why I picked
Normally
it up.
when one of us needs to go out of the room, we pause the podcast and make sure there's no noises coming out.
Yeah, but we were. I mean, that was stealthy.
It was an Andy.
That was
I didn't even know you left.
It was an Andy and Dan conversation. You didn't need me.
That's true.
Are you interested in the Star Wars game at all, Matt?
I have it on my GameFly list as like my number one, so we'll get it. I'll get it at some point, but I'm not super interested.
I'll let you
in it.
be the tiebreaker, Matt. Devil May Cry 5 and Outer Worlds are 2 games that Dana's purchased since we started doing this list. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't put them in the system yet. So should we even count it yet if he hasn't put them in the system?
No.
No?
See?
Okay.
I was gonna say I'm prepping. Like I have a stack of
prep. I'm just the whole point of this list. No, hang on. The whole point of this list is you buy games and don't play them, or only play them for 5 minutes. Well, like Outer Worlds, you know you're gonna play.
Okay, absolutely. Here, I want to tell you the games from that list that that are like the games that I played, and I'm very excited that I want to finish. Greedfall. I heard a beep from your phone. What are you doing?
It was listening to you. Sorry.
No, it was. Of course, you're always recording me. Anyway, Greedfall, I've enjoyed the heck out of it, and I want to give them my full support because that game is actually fun.
Shadows Die Twice you couldn't shut up about when you first started playing it.
No, it's fun. It's just, it is a very frustrating game. And
Ultimate Alliance 3 you were so psyched for.
Okay, give me a moment, okay? Hang on. The games that are in my upper echelon that I know I'm going to finish.
All
like,
right.
I can tell you, I will finish them. Greedfall, Death Stranding, Outer Worlds,
Jedi
Fallen Order, which I'll pick up tomorrow.
Even before playing it, you want to put it on a definitely going to beat list?
Yes, it just, I can tell. Like, I'm going to like it a lot.
Okay.
And then there was a fifth one.
Ultimate Alliance 3, Shadows Die Twice. All right, let me you use your hand to count as I say them out loud. Ultimate Alliance 3. Really?
It's gone down on the list of.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Wind Waker. No, that's not on the list.
I love Wind Waker. I have been enjoying the heck out of it.
This is one of those rare days where I just don't know you. Samus Returns, Shadows Die Twice, Greedfall, Link's Awakening, Outer Worlds, Death Stranding, Jedi Fallen Order. So those 7.
Actually, I'm gonna subtract 1 because Shadows Die Twice. I don't know if I'll finish that. I'm gonna try, but it is a hard game to get back into because you can easily get lost.
But that doesn't mean I'm removing them from the list.
Okay, that's fine.
I removed Devil May Cry 5 from the list. That was the one. Because you said
I don't get it. Oh well, Outer Worlds, yes, I will beat, and I will.
Yeah,
play it
we've established.
Yeah. So 6
out of the 9 that are listed here.
Yes, I will.
You definitely will beat 6. So now here's an option.
Yeah.
Here's an option.
I'll
give you an ultimatum. Not an ultimatum. Different option. You can, if you want, flex those other 3 games. What does flex mean? Well, there's going to be a new category. It's called failure.
What is happening to me right now?
I think he's been trying to incorporate fantasy football into this.
What? I don't know what that means, but failure. You failed to beat these games, even though you bought them.
Don't I have all the time in the world? Aren't you getting to games that have been out for 15 years? I mean, you just told us last week that you wanted to beat Metal Gear Solid 4, and I stood behind you.
Yeah, I didn't go out and buy it, though. I'm just giving you a chance to take these off of your plate, so you don't have to worry about me naming them all the time.
I think if I buy it brand spanking new, because I just purchased 3 buy 2 get 1 deal.
It's not a reason to buy a game. You buy a game if you want to play a game, man.
I do want to play it. There's a lot of games. Like I said, there's one little.
Are you ever going to play Devil May Cry 5?
Yes, I've heard great things about it. Matt raved about it.
True.
Thank you, Matt.
I'm just letting you know. I'm adding that category in. It's your choice on whether or not.
What is your definition of a failure?
Just giving up on it.
Yeah, but who's gonna? What happens? I've gone back and seen certain games. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give this.
I am just saying it's an option. That's all. Otherwise, it's gonna remain on the list.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's simple as that. I wasn't saying I'm not getting into a whole ideological debate with you. I'm just saying there's a new category called Given Up. For me, there would be 2 games on that list now. Given Up. I gave up on
Final Fantasy 15, I gave up on Borderlands 3. I would have to put those two on the list. I got rid of them. I'm like, they're not worth my time. I know I'm not going to beat them.
Okay.
Admittedly. It's just how it just didn't grab me. It doesn't mean I've changed it to given up from failure, because if you don't like a game, you don't like a game. You shouldn't force yourself to play a game you don't like.
There's also just something...
Or I could change it to will not beat.
Will not beat is probably better.
Okay. Does that make you feel better?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. Thank you so much.
Poor little guy.
Bite me.
So, am I putting any on that will not beat list?
Potentially Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening? Really?
Sometimes I get frustrated with Zelda
Not
games.
Wind Waker? Link's Awakening. Because Link's Awakening you're playing now, currently.
Yeah.
Wind Waker you haven't touched in how long?
I went back to it recently.
A while.
A while, yeah. It was like 2 weeks ago. I went back and played a little bit. I have a stack of games.
Okay. Oh, you always have a stack of games.
Of course I do.
Thick stack of games.
Thank you. Yeah. So
All right. I'm just saying that there's a will not beat section if you ever want to flux one of those games onto there and just
I can
admit.
like flick them back.
Nope. Flux
So
it there
once it hits,
Yep.
I can never. Even though if I go back and beat it, it doesn't count.
Yep.
That's unfair.
I don't care.
That's unfair.
don't
No,
care.
that's unfair. I think the flex, you're supposed to be able to take it in and out.
Oh, that's
of
why
that
you
slot.
mentioned fantasy football, because the flex. Okay.
That's totally why you're picking that
No,
name.
I actually didn't even think about that.
You totally.
No, really. No, dead serious. Like that's why I was confused as to why you were making the fantasy football reference. But I'm just saying, once you move a game onto the will not beat, you are saying you will not beat it. It's just not saved for later. It's will not beat.
All my games in my collection are saved for later if I have to.
Please. Please. Don't give me that crap. All right, we're done with this section. We're done with this segment. Matt's feeling alone and afraid. Is there any other games you guys have been playing that you didn't think of until just now?
Nope.
No. All right, we're moving on to some actual like gaming topic news, and just to give the listeners a little heads up, we're doing a little something different today, and with the podcast going forward, we're no longer going to force upon you, the listeners, a game discussion that we come up with each week. We all will still take recommendations for things you would like us to discuss or talk about. But we really started scraping the bottom of the barrel with some of them, and it didn't seem worth it to really force it every week just to come up with a topic. But, we're still going to talk about, things that we care about, things that are happening, or things that we bring up, and I'm still going to surprise them with segments every now and then, so don't worry about that.
Hooray.
There will be a Jeopardy Part 3,
Oh,
and it will be easier questions, so everybody can play along. It won't just be like,
I mean, I didn't have a problem last time.
well, Matt didn't have a problem the first time.
That is
That's
true.
right.
So who will get the tiebreaker? But yeah, on this thing, this is a quickie that I saw. Tentative release date that's probably going to get pushed back is Zelda's Breath of the Wild 2 2020 release.
Yeah, I saw that.
Comes from Sabi, a.k.a. @new_wabi-sabi on Twitter, and I guess they have a reliable track record.
Oh, I've heard that name before.
A lot of those Nintendo release dates end up getting pushed back, I feel, though.
I mean, it's been a while since it came out. The first day that Switch came out was like a long time ago now.
Which
It
was
like 2 years.
not
so.
2015, which I keep saying it. No, it was March 1st of 2017 or March
Yeah.
3rd, something
But I mean,
like
they
that.
A
have-
week before that, Andy got me excited about the Switch when I was not going to purchase it, and then I did.
I did instigate it.
He did.
So that'll be like over 3 years since it came out. 3 plus 3.5 years because it came
the
out.
Switch
like
has been out
February,
for 3 years?
2017. Yeah.
It's been out for 2.5 at this point, but by 2020, he means.
Oh, okay, all right.
And that'll be.
I
guess it
kind of figured
depends.
take your time because I feel like Zelda games, don't they come out like, well, when I say Zelda games, I mean the full-fledged, like, Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I imagine this will be a lot easier to make than because it's not. It's going to kind of be based off. I would assume the similar engine,
Oh,
similar
same-
like the
same
same
engine.
the same way that Majora's Mask was like turned out really quickly after Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, and it's already got triple the game development time as Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be the same exact overworld, but I
wait,
I
tell-
assume it's going to be the same base, I would assume.
Yeah.
Because I imagine, I think what happened in that trailer was something's going to happen to change the world as a whole, but they could still start out with the starting product and just kind of edit it, and a lot of the same assets, I'm sure, are going to be used in the game, I would assume.
Plus, I feel like that would be the best time to release this game at the end of next year because they're going to be like lost in the crowd of the PlayStation 5. And the
That's
next
true.
Xbox.
Yeah, that's a
so
good point.
they need like a banger to really get any of the
Metroid.
kind of news, any kind of attention at that point.
I don't even... I don't want to get into Metroid.
Yeah, remember when they announced that like 2 years ago?
No, that's fine. I know they restarted production. I'm just like, I really thought we were going to have the trilogy.
Well, not only that, I would love to get into that because again, getting back into some of those older games, I have a tough time with the mechanics. I'm like, oh, this is too frustrating. I can't play, especially if it's a new game I've never played before. It's hard to jump into it.
It is a little surprising for me. Now, do you get that more with 3D games or like
3D? Like the old 2D, I feel like they never go out of style. They're just still easy to play.
The old 3D games, especially when they got started, were really rough.
Like Metal Gear Solid 1, I cannot play that on the original PlayStation. It is way too clunky. Something about
Really? I still love it.
I can play the Twin Snakes one, but I just can't play the original PlayStation 1.
Did you play the Twin Snakes version, Matt?
Yeah, you didn't. Okay. I remember you didn't like the voice acting as much.
Yeah, I didn't.
Last week.
Like I was so used to this iconic voice acting. It was like if they like redubbed your favorite film, even with the real actors. It's like it's just not the same for some reason.
See, the Twin Snakes one was the original one that I like, or the Metal Gear Solid one that I played with and started.
Oh, it's kind of like that whole the first Final Fantasy you played is your favorite. I'm sorry, anybody who played 13 before anything else.
Oh, I was like, I didn't play. Oh, right, 10. Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why 10 stuck in my mind so much. I mean, 10 is. I know it's usually up there with people's favorites.
It's usually. I mean, it's my second favorite.
I feel like 7 through 10 is the golden age. And
Definitely.
Although people loved 6, but I never played that.
I would say 6 is better than a lot of the other 3D ones. So I'll put 6 right up in there.
Isn't 6 like 2 or 3? I'm so confused.
So in America, they branded it as Final Fantasy 3, but in Japan, it was Final Fantasy 6.
But in Japan, didn't they already have a Final Fantasy 3?
Yes. It did get ported over to America.
Yeah, they skipped a couple.
They skipped 3. They skipped 2, 3, and 4, I'm pretty sure.
But, okay, so if they renamed the one in Japan Final Fantasy 6, then what was Final Fantasy 6 over in America?
There wasn't one.
Interesting.
In America, we went 1, 2, 3, 7. Except it was 1, 5, 6, 7, or 4, 6, 7. One of those. I think it was 4 and 6. We got as 2 and 3.
Oh, I just remember they made like an anthology. It was like a Final Fantasy anthology, and I was like, oh.
And the anthology had the correct numbering. I'm pretty sure it was for the Super Nintendo that it was named incorrectly.
Oh, okay.
So, so that's your little Final Fantasy history for you. But we'll see. A lot of people are speculating that Zelda's going to be a playable character too, because she has short hair now. So they're like wondering, like, oh, maybe you could do puzzles with each, because the shorter hair would be easier to animate and easy to switch between the two while still have like similar animations and stuff like that.
Shorter hair?
Yeah, Zelda has her hair cut in the trailer.
Oh, so maybe Sheik will make an
fingers crossed. I love that.
That would be pretty cool. A playable Sheik co-op.
Yeah, that would be fun. But it has to be a full-fledged game. But yeah, like you said, Matt, I think they're probably just going to use like the same assets.
Please, thank you.
I think they listened for that. I'm pretty sure.
I heard the DLC was pretty good.
Heard.
Did you play the DLC in Breath?
Yeah, I'm not done with it yet though. But yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Okay, good.
Speaking of characters from our youth, Sonic got a new trailer.
Yeah, Sonic.
Oh yeah.
He can really move. And he's got an attitude.
And he doesn't look like crap?
Not anymore.
He does not look like crap.
No, he looks... Did you see the trailer?
I did. The guy in front of me was like, you have to watch this. I'm like, I'm not really interested. And he was like, no, seriously. He doesn't even like video games. And he was like, look, this is pretty cool. He's like, if my daughter was a little bit older, I would go out and see this. He has a daughter.
That's not why I was furrowing my brow.
Why are you furrowing your brow?
I don't know. It seems kid-friendly enough where when it's like a cartoon hedgehog, does the girl need to really be that much older?
She's 1.
So?
Not even.
Don't bring a 1-year-old to a theater.
That was the point. He said if she was older.
Well, go on. What'd you think of the trailer?
I mean, I'm not going to see it. Anyway, go to Matt, because Matt looks like he's very excited.
You didn't see it?
No, I saw the trailer. I'm just not that interested.
So you don't have anything to say about it?
I mean, he looks 100%
right, Matt,
better. That's what I said. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, the Sonic character looks a lot better in this one. It looks like the one that you remember. It doesn't look like this freakish nightmare monster from a horror movie from the 80s or anything anymore.
It looked too human.
Yeah. That being said, I don't know. I did really like they had like at the beginning they had shots of the kind of Green Hill Zone and
the noises
background and like everything. Yeah, they had the music, like the Sonic theme was kind of different as opposed to the non-canonical Gangster's Paradise, which was in the original trailer.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Ugh. So it's definitely an improvement, but I still feel like, I mean, it does seem like it's a movie designed like targeting towards 7-year-olds, which I am not a 7-year-old, so I'm definitely gonna go see it just for the nostalgia factor. But I don't plan to really enjoy it. We'll see how it turns out, I guess. I mean, like
he's going into this movie the same way he did with Death Stranding.
The first trailer was
I'm not going to enjoy it,
Yeah.
but I'm going to sit through the whole damn thing. I'm not going to like the story. No.
Yeah, I mean, the first trailer was the same thing where I didn't really think it was good, and it wasn't just the character that was not disappointing, but just turned me off to it. Just like the whole vibe of the movie looks like a kid's movie, so it's not like them reanimating Sonic or changing his look is gonna make it like all of a sudden this movie that it's gonna be so much different. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Now, did you both of you guys like in? All right, I should reword this. The Pokemon movie, what was it called? Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Now that I know it was kind of kiddish, but also they had the real like. I don't know.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
But do you think that was? Do you think this is the same audience, or do you think the Detective Pikachu was more adult because?
Yeah,
I don't know, Ryan Reynolds maybe.
Yeah,
or...
I think this one will feel like maybe a little bit for younger kids, like with the like fluffy animal, like it's.
See, I feel like they're both kind of targeted to like the kind of not only people into. I feel like Pokemon was definitely aimed at like our age nostalgia.
Yeah,
that's why I was wondering. I was like, do you think the Sonic?
But it's not like there's any like little kids in this movie or anything though. Like all right. So first off, I do give thank you animators who put in 1,000 hours of time fixing up Sonic and making him look better because he does look fantastic now, which is what everybody complained about. If you did like a flashback right now to the podcast where we originally talked about that, I think it was like the second episode we talked about this trailer that had come out. My opinion of the movie has not changed one bit.
No,
the only opinion that's changed is Sonic looks like Sonic instead of some horrible monster. Every single joke in this trailer fell flat. It still looks like a garbage movie. They should have done like an animated movie with all the characters, but that probably wouldn't. It would have cost more and still made the same amount of money probably. Like I understand why they didn't do that.
Cost more, really?
Oh yeah, like the reason they're using
like I mean Jim Carrey's got to cost you a little bit of money.
CG costs more than doing live action shots.
Jesus.
Like a full CG environment movie, like doing a CG Sonic in the real world as opposed to actually creating the entirety of a CG world is a lot more cost effective. Like yeah, I mean, I don't really think Jim Carrey is going for big bucks nowadays, and whoever they got with Sonic, the guy who played Cyclops in the X-Men movies, I don't think he's gotten a lot of work lately except for Westworld. So, like, yeah, like the movie as a whole, like every single joke fell flat for me still. It just doesn't, they just simply changed his look, which I enjoy the new look, but it doesn't make me want to see the movie any more than it used to. That's just how it is for me. It's unfortunate. I want to like it, but I mean.
So you're not going to see it when it comes out?
No.
Smart move.
Sorry, I won't be in that happening, Matt. That's going to be all you, nothing but.
It's going to be Matt with a theater full of 7-year-olds.
Yeah. So did you guys, I didn't know this until I shit you not hours ago. I didn't know that Stadia came out next week.
You excited? Stadia.
I thought it comes out tomorrow.
Launch party
or Friday. I thought it came out the 15th, the same time as.
That's how out of the loop I am. I didn't even know it was. I thought we were like a year away from it or something. I didn't even know.
No, it was. Yeah, it's supposed
because
to.
I didn't care.
It's like some vague time where they're like, we're gonna ship it out at this point. You might not get it that day, but you'll probably get it soon.
Is that actually what they're saying?
Yeah, they were like they weren't guaranteeing that you would get it on the launch day if you had ordered it.
It's not gonna have all the features, I guess, either. Like some of the features are gonna be like downloaded later. Like
yeah, I mean,
an uneasy amount of time later. Like they haven't actually like said. It's really weird.
The surprising thing to me was that there's only like 12 or 14 games that are at launch. Yeah, and they're not, they're
not worth it.
They're not fine. They're not like amazing
list.
blockbuster games. Some of them are good, but I mean, it's not like you're gonna be able to get like all the newest, greatest games that are coming out this week on the Stadia. You're gonna have to play these, year-old Assassin's Creed Odyssey or whatever.
Yeah, it starts out with 12 games, and then by the end of the year, they said 14 more would be added, but they didn't. Or at least I didn't look up what the 14 would be.
No, it's funny because a lot of those games that they announced, all the 12 games, so $130 gets you the Founders Edition, correct?
Sounds right.
Which keeps reminding me of
$29.99
Fortnite, because there was the Founders Pack in Fortnite.
All you're getting technically, physically, is a controller, right? that does not.
Get
and then
little,
on top of that,
You get the Chromecast.
well, yeah, you
to
get the
put it-
Chromecast. But I mean, if you stop paying for your stuff, it doesn't work.
Wait,
Nothing
is it
correct.
a little Chromecast like the actual Chromecast, or is it? I thought it was like a tiny little box.
It's a tiny little box, but
Okay.
I mean, it's just picking up.
Well, no, because the Chromecast is this thing, like this little USB thing that you can plug into the side of your TV. I
Oh,
wasn't
no,
sure
no,
if it was
no.
the same
It
exact
looks like
thing.
Apple, like the old Apple TV.
Oh, like the
Yeah,
kind
that
of
little box
curved
thing, yeah.
box. Okay, all right,
So
gotcha.
if you think about it this way, because I saw the list of games last night. It's $129.99
Mm-hmm.
plus you have to pay $9.99 a month, correct? So right there, that's
I guess
100
I'm just like nodding in
that's what it
agreement.
is.
I'm not really like
I saw the price, so
telling
it's
you.
$10 a month, and then on top of that, you have to purchase each game, correct?
yes.
So
There is a base version that's the subscription. You don't have to pay the subscription, but you're not going to get as good quality. You're not going to get like 4K, and you don't have to. You wouldn't get the controller, obviously. But that's not out till next year.
okay, but if you want to start on the ground level,
Yeah, you got to take it.
$130 plus the $10, $140, and then each game is $59.99. Okay, one system, one game,
Are they really
one
selling
controller.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey for
Yeah, they're all
$59.99? They're all $60 games.
They're all $60 games. You have to buy them at like full price. That's why if
Are
you
they
ever go on
stupid?
if you ever go on PlayStation like the store or something, all the digital ones are ridiculous. Like they're still $60. For
Oh,
some
really?
Reason,
Huh.
Yeah, the digital games for some reason they don't drop in price for
Probably
some
because
reason.
they know that they can just get people who want the convenience.
Well, that
Yeah,
too.
they don't have to get them out of the warehouse.
They do
or
the sales though
store.
every now and
They
then.
do the sale exactly, but for these, I mean, they're probably not going to go on sale. They're going to wait till Christmas because they probably want to hit all those sales anyway. So $200 right away just to play one game, one controller. That's it. And all of those games that pretty much are launching with the system are games that you pretty much could buy every single one, like a physical copy, and you could get it. You could own a physical copy of each game for cheaper.
I'm not sure that the microphone picks you up if you're to the side of the microphone. That's what I was trying to tell you there.
Oh, I'm very
Just
sorry
letting you
if
know.
you did not hear me for the past 5 seconds. Anyway, so what I'm saying is it starts out $129.99 plus $9.99 plus $60 for one game. So it's $200 and you're playing one game. That's it, right? Here's the list
You
of
have
games.
repeated that several times.
Okay, well,
I'm
I
waiting
just-
for the punchline.
Okay, well, I didn't know
here.
what I. Okay, I didn't hear what.
All right, go.
All right,
what do you want to say?
I'm
Go,
going, all right.
go. Get it away.
Game.
Get it away. Ah!
All right, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Destiny 2.
They're too loud.
I don't know what Guilt is, but it probably can't be that expensive. Just Dance 2020, nobody gives a shit.
I
Kind,
love that game.
no, you don't. Mortal Kombat 11, Red Dead Redemption 2, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Samurai Showdown, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Thumper, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition.
How many of those
Tomb
games came out
Raider.
this year?
Not too many, but also the funny thing is, if you were to buy each like of those pre-owned, Destiny
Oh
2 is
my God.
Destiny 2 is
Free to play.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is under $20. Red Dead Redemption is under $30 now. All the Tomb Raiders you can get for pretty much like $10.
Wait, are they selling Destiny 2 on there for $60?
I don't know. Included with Stadia Pro, that says.
Yeah, you get that.
All right,
free
sorry.
you
So
pay the
if you want to play
subscription,
yeah, if you want to play Destiny online,
Now,
but
here's a question, because I'm still confused as to how this weird thing that they're trying to do works. Let's say I paid the $130.
get yourself a sweet controller.
Get myself. It looks fine. Get myself the controller and the little box.
Yep.
And let's say I buy a game.
Yeah.
Let's say I buy Assassin's Creed Odyssey for $60 because I'm stupid or something. Let's say I don't pay the subscription fee. Can I still play the game?
nope.
So it has to be because it's streaming, right?
No,
it's not.
You get for 3 months. You get a free with your $130 purchase. You get 3 months worth of like pro access.
all right.
Oh, they give you a free.
What about after the 3 months though?
Nope.
Because
Yes.
you're paying to stream the games, correct?
No, you're paying. You don't have to pay to stream the games unless you're doing the pro version. There's 2 tiers. There's a pro and a free one. So
Okay.
the pro one lets you do like 4K, and I think they're gonna have like sales and things like that.
So the
Kinda
free
like,
version, I can download the game and play it offline and not worry about streaming it.
you cannot download it.
And you.
So I'm still streaming it, but I'm streaming it for free.
Correct. On the base one,
but you have to pay for it.
So
You,
well, I have
you
to-
pay $60 and you
I
have
have to
access to the game.
Yes, but I also have to worry about my internet complaining that I'm
You can't
using
play it
up so
offline.
much bandwidth.
Correct.
And you
streaming
cannot play it
these
offline.
games.
It's a horrible beta that you have to pay tons of money to get into.
Yep.
Okay.
That
Just
no-
so you
that
can
no one should do.
apparently automatically
I
update
am
the game.
I am over the moon to find out what the sales numbers are on this thing because it's not like all right.
We said it's selling out.
And it's unfortunate that this is the world we live in, but if there was a giant Apple on this thing, I bet it would sell a lot better just based on brand name alone, but I don't think anybody's going for Google Stadia. And I know Apple's making a game thing too, aren't they?
I don't know. They have that.
Maybe they're waiting for Google Stadia.
I mean, they have their phone Apple game store that they've have on.
Probably just making stuff up.
It sounds like you're making stuff up.
No, I could have sworn I heard a Google like system. They were in the
Yeah,
works.
it's called Google Stadia.
I mean, not Google. Apple. I could have sworn that Apple was making.
Oh, it
something.
might be what Matt was talking about, the game thing.
the Apple Arcade that they just had on like the iPad and the phone that just came out like a month.
Oh
or two
no,
ago.
I heard they were making like a streaming service.
I'm very curious. Like, it's not like anybody I know. Like, I didn't even know it was coming out next week. So I'm wondering how many people like actually know that this thing's coming out. A, and then B, how many people are actually buying
Well, it kind of feels like a soft launch because they're only allowing the people that pre-ordered it that kind of wanted to get into this like higher tier with the controller and everything like that. Because I guess next year when it kind of fully launches, you'll be able to do it for that where you won't have to pay the monthly fee. Obviously, you won't get a few bonuses like the 4K, and you don't necessarily need to buy their their controller.
So wait a minute. What's it gonna be when it relaunches? What do you have to do?
So you could technically, this is how they're saying it'll work. You can just like sign into your browser, create a free account, pay $60 for your Assassin's Creed, and then just plug in your PS4 controller and start playing it on their web browser, like that.
So this is just for people who pre-ordered the system, I guess. That's
the controller.
the controller.
And the Chromecast thing.
But technically, 3 months from now, I could say, I want to stream Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I just sign up for an account. I don't need to pay a monthly fee or anything, and I just download the game and use a controller I already have.
Yes.
That's still stupid.
Yes.
Because you're paying $60 for an old game that you don't need to stream and don't need to waste your data streaming. I'm still wondering how anybody's internet providers are actually going to handle all this.
On top of that, I mean, you need a constant online connection. I mean, anybody that always needs a connection, even for a game that doesn't require it, that's going to be frustrating. Because on top of that, if there isn't a great connection, it's even an offline game is going to
which
slug.
I do have in this house. I have poor connections all the time because our router is, which no fault to Matt at all, because it's just how it's hooked up with a very short cord, is like in the corner of a closet. I have a hard enough time. That's why my PS4 is hardwired across the house, just so I make sure that Call of Duty doesn't drop out on me, because my Wi-Fi does dip in and out.
True.
Yeah, so
in
does
this
mine.
home. So I would never, not that I would want to be streaming games anyways, I would never be able to do it. So yeah, this is dumb.
Well, I mean, can you imagine
weird.
college campuses where it's like locked?
Oh my God.
It's like, I don't know who they're trying to sell to. Kids? Like, kids don't like.
Oh, I don't even think they know their audience.
No, I mean, it's just like, what age adults are. I mean,
I
they
would
probably only buy like one
assume-
game a year, so they're not going to get a lot of money off them.
You know what? I've heard that our generation is a little more about not being as cluttered with stuff. And, I've kind of gone back and forth on like whether or not I'm kind of back into this mode where I want physical games and not as much digital. I go back and forth, but I'm wondering if that's the target audience, is those people who like, they want to play all of these games, but don't want like 1,000 boxes. But that's why you just have a system, just download them instead.
Well, yeah, they already have that. It's like,
You can already do that.
yeah, if you only want digital, you'll do that. And I'm sure the PlayStation 5 will do that even better for the
Okay.
people,
I'm taking bets here.
Yep, take a bet.
Will this sell worse or better? And this might be hard to tell because I don't think we got sales number for the other. Worse or better than the Xbox One?
Sad.
I actually had to remember. I don't even remember what it was called. Did they even advertise that anymore?
No.
Is it a thing?
I think I saw it on sale a while back, but not.
Oh, I
like
wonder why.
Not worth buying at sale.
Worse or better?
Like a month ago.
It's probably, I think it's going to sell a little better, honestly,
I
which is
think it's-
unfortunate. But
I think it's better because it's a new audience. For the people that already have an Xbox, it's like, I just remove my disc tray and it's the same thing. Whereas, this is a new, like, you're going to get the Google people, like, just like the Apple people, like, oh, it's Google.
See, that's
I'm
what I
still
was
buying it.
wondering. Is Google people a thing? Because like how they have the
Google
Pixel
fans.
phones,
The Google Pixel.
but
yeah.
I mean, Apple is like a juggernaut. Apple has more money than Disney. That's how big they are.
Yeah, I just think the rollout's really bad because if you think about the promise of this, if they actually had like 90% of the cross-platform games that were coming out, like you could get Outer Worlds, you could get maybe even Death Stranding, like any sort of new game that's coming out, you could get these games when they were coming out, and maybe if the prices for some of the older games were kind of in line with what you would find at the store or even on the Steam store or PS Online, like it does seem like it could be appealing for an audience that doesn't want to deal with upgrading their console. You don't have to pay this like $500, $400 entry fee into a console. If you travel a lot, it's much easier. You can just bring like a controller with you. So I can see like an upside where this would have a sizable audience.
Oh yeah,
because
like you had them like playing on your phone and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it just seems like the rollout with these 14 games that aren't really exciting to people that played video games. I mean, a few of them are good, but even then, they're not they're not like games that just came out that you haven't played yet. If you're really into Tomb Raider or Red Dead Redemption, whatever the games are. So I feel like
a couple of these I haven't even heard of.
I feel like they're not really putting anything behind.
Best foot forward.
Yeah, they're not like it seems like they don't even believe in it.
Well, I mean, and here are the
them.
14 games that are going to be here by year's end. Attack on Titan 2 Final Battle, that's an anime. So that's a battle anime game. Borderlands 3, that's the first game that's actually come out in the past couple months I've seen on here. Darksiders Genesis, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Farming Simulator 19, Final Fantasy 15, Football Manager 2020, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Grid, Metro Exodus, 2K, NBA 2K20, Rage 2, Trials Rising, and Wolfenstein Youngblood.
See, the thing is, all those games, like pre-owned, you can get for so cheap. You can buy 3 for the price of like $60. Wolfenstein Youngblood is like $20 at GameStop right now.
Yeah,
if you want to buy a pre-owned. I mean, what's it called? There was another one you said on there that's
Rage 2.
Rage 2 is cheap.
Metro Exodus is dirt cheap.
Final Fantasy 15 is $5.
Oh yeah, that's
$5.
old. That was like 2015, 2016.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like if they advertise this as like an exclusive killer, like, hey, if you're worried about like missing out on Death Stranding for PlayStation or State of Decay for Xbox or Gears of War for Xbox or Halo or you get the point. But if you're worried about like, I want to buy both, I want to buy both systems and play everything, but I just don't have, I don't want to buy each console. At that point, it's like, hey, buy the exclusive. We're gonna partner with, Nintendo. We're gonna buy. At that point, it's like, oh shit.
And that comes down to the real issue is that they didn't partner with anybody. That's why there's only 12 games on there, and we kind of saw this from the original launch trailer. It's like people wanted, like they didn't announce any games that were really going to be on the thing, and it's like, well, what are the games going to be? And they kind of had a bunch of logos in the background, but didn't actually announce what was going to be on it. And now we know, and it's such a small
I think the
sample size.
Big team they were trying to connect with was Ubisoft, because they were trying to do all like the live services one. Because Ubisoft was like, oh, we're gonna have Assassin's Creed on it. We're gonna have Ghost Recon. We're gonna have
Matt, you sounded so weird there for a moment.
What's the one with the monkey? Beyond Good and Evil 2? I don't know if it, again, that's what they showcased. I don't think that game's coming out. You don't think it's coming out?
No. What other Ubisoft games were on that list besides Assassin's Creed and the Tomb Raider games are Square Enix, right?
Square Enix, yep.
Yeah, I got Breakpoint and Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed. The Crew 2 will be.
Well, that's like that later list though. I mean, by the end of the year. It's just the first 12 and the next 14.
So
it's 2 games. Wow, what a partnership.
3. Well, okay, so the initial launch, there's 2.
Booming industry we're in.
A number of legacy titles that were previously promised as part of the launch one are currently not. So they'll have 3. That's it. 3.
I love this quote, by the way. Someone asked, what happens if someone starts casting to your Chromecast while you're mid-game? The answer is you get booted out of your game, of course, but the Stadia servers will continue running your game for 10 minutes afterwards while you sort it out.
Not only that, do you hear about the input lag, what they're trying to do to implement, like, if you have delay or lag or whatever?
Are they, like, slowing down the game or something?
No, they're going to auto, like, pick a button for you. So yeah, that was another huge thing that there was an issue.
What do you mean auto pick a button for me?
So they're gonna guesstimate what you're like, how you've been doing or whatever, and they're gonna auto press the button for you. I'm not kidding.
I'm not. That wasn't a look that I gave of your BSing me. That was a look of what are they doing?
I don't know.
And I am very curious to see how this does, if there's any crashing or anything like that, because I know they are using quote unquote their own like fiber optic lines. They're not going through like normal broadband lines. Like this whole thing is just weird. Like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And maybe it's going to end up working great, but even if it does work great, it's still not appealing. So it's like, what's the point?
Google Stadia will eventually predict button presses.
That's eventually.
Yeah, but that's that's the idea, is that they were gonna, we're gonna play for you at this point. So pay us $10 a month or whatever, and we'll play for you.
Do you guys have anything else to say about this Stadia crap?
Hope it fails. Hard.
No.
Do you hope it fails, Matt? Hard?
I don't. I guess.
You always like more competition in the video game world. Remember that Atari thing that was supposed to happen?
It's just so stupid, though.
It is.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
I would love Sega to come back with a system. Get us the Dreamcast 2.
I wonder how long they're gonna stick behind this and give up.
Like the Ouya. Remember that?
Maybe like at the end of next year they're gonna be like, all right, we're done doing this, and we're not gonna have any more games launched for the Stadia.
Who made the Ouya?
That was an independent Kickstarter.
Oh, okay. No, that's the other thing too. Is like, if this thing fails, all those people that paid 100 and
Why, Dan? According to your phone, it's your move in Words for Friends too.
Thank you for the update. I had no idea that Andy's phone was plugged into my. Anyway, I got distracted. Way to go! Thank you. Anyway, so if you pay for the subscription fee and then you don't want it in a few years or a year, you lose access to that entire library.
Well, no, you don't need to pay the subscription fee to play the games.
Well, yeah, but so wait a minute. So yeah, but once you disconnect from,
Said that 3 times.
But
we
wait a
have
minute.
we have said that quite a few times.
There's 2 tiers. There's a free tier and a premium tier.
But you always need to be connected.
You always need to
To
buy
the
the
internet,
game,
yeah.
and you always need to be connected to the internet.
Now, unlike previous games we've talked about, I do in fact think that this could tank and the servers will shut down and you will not be able to play those games.
Well, okay, that's what I meant. Is when this shuts down, say they make a Google Stadia 2 or whatever, they're going to shut this off and all your stuff is permanently gone. At least with the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox, you download those, you own them. Steam, you own them.
You do not own these. You are streaming them only.
renting
If
them.
you pay $60 and in 6 months Google Stadia decides this did not work out in our favor, we wasted all of this billions of dollars that we already had, so it doesn't matter, and they shut down, those games are gone. And I more than any other time we've talked about this on the podcast, I think that this is a reality for Google Stadia. That's actually what will happen. Like, how if this thing starts tanking, how long do you think they'll spend trying to fix it or just give up?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say if they'll just keep throwing money at it, or they'll just like ignore it and quietly let it die, and like maybe they'll keep the server up for like a ton of years and just let you
Google
play
Glass did go for like 2 to 3
dozen
years.
games. Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of like an MMO, like Anthem. Like, at this point, they may not. They're stuck with their audience. That's all you have. You're not going to gain probably any more at that point. So you got to hit those initial people, and I don't think it is. I mean, it's just it just seems like it's dead on arrival.
Yeah, fuck off, Stadia. It's the only other thing I wrote down here, it's just a quick note, but it did catch me a little bit by surprise. Is I guess there's a Xbox conference coming up called XO19. I think the conference is just called XO, and then 19 is just the year. It's the 12th through the 14th, the 14th to the 16th in London, and now this is 3 or 4 months removed from E3. We're 1 year away from the next Xbox. I guess there's not going to be anything about Scarlet at the convention or conference or whatever you want to call it, and that's weird because PlayStation has continued to release little nuggets of information and whatnot, and we still don't really have anything.
Yeah, I wonder what the rollout's going to be like, because we're getting to the point where actually you're going to start to get the kind of initial official rollout. I think it happened in like February, March for PlayStation and Xbox last time around, like that kind of early part of the year, and then released in probably November. So I feel like we'll probably have an Xbox and a PlayStation convention sometime in the first or maybe the early part of the second quarter. But I think they'll probably stay quiet just because they don't want to eat into their final Christmas sales that they can sell some stuff.
Oh, that's
for
a
the
good
holidays.
point. I mean, to be fair, PlayStation hasn't really officially announced
the
PS5.
But is there any? I don't think there's any exclusives for Xbox coming out.
Yeah, but still, the system sales though.
Yeah, I want the new.
Like,
but what are they going to have a conference for if they're not going to talk? Are they going to talk about potential games for the next?
Oh,
system?
you're wondering why I think it's just a conference they have every year in London. Regardless, I don't think this is a special thing.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's just kind of weird unless they're gonna announce like some Halo
I think it's kind of like E3. Like even if there's not a lot of stuff to announce, it happens every year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll just talk about like their partnerships with the indie developers. So just kind of vague stuff that applies to the next Xbox, but isn't directly, the next Xbox.
Yeah, I would love it if maybe they showcase some of their ideas for games coming out. Also, for exclusives this year, nothing's really happened except for Gears 5, correct?
Gears 5, yeah, that's been out.
So
I mean, I'm sure there were more, but yeah, that's the only one I can think of that like has any sort of consequence to it.
Yeah, Dan, you're the only one who has an Xbox here. Was
That's
there really
what I
anything?
mean. Like, no, they don't have anything. Whereas PlayStation still has some games up their sleeve. They still have Last of Us 2. They still have the Ghost of Tsushima. They still have potentially Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
Yeah. I kind of appreciate the Microsoft strategy, which I think is like whatever. Xbox One has been done for 2 years. Like we're just gonna save everything for this new system, and hopefully, like that's the question. Like, does this come out and it's a huge banger? Like they're like, we got your Halos, we got your, your
and you get an Xbox.
And you. Sorry, I tried to do the same thing
Dan,
that Andy
cut your
did, and I
fingernails.
accidentally cut him.
So Matt, you said last time. Now this was back at a time when a dark period in my life where I was removed from video gaming. Shudder the thought. So they didn't wait until E3 for the last gen to announce everything. They did it in their own little private things.
So I know, that PlayStation had like an official in February, March. They had like a big official meeting where they showed off the PS4. They had like Mark Cerny come up and talk about the specs and things like that. They released some of the games and talked about some of the features. I think I'm not as familiar. I know Xbox had something similar, but it was like a disaster because it was like
that was the really bad one where everybody like canceled their
where
pre-orders for the system.
Everyone was like,
that.
"Oh my god, did you believe that?" And then like,
see, I thought that happened at E3
a month. I don't remember exactly when the
was
Xbox
that
one
the
happened,
one-
but
oh,
I think it was before E3.
Was that the 24-hour connection one?
Yeah.
Where, oh god, I forgot what that guy works now.
Oh,
the guy
yeah,
that mentioned
he
it.
did get fired.
He went to like Zynga or no,
Yeah.
I thought he just got to he went to another company. He went to a phone company, like a
I'm
phone
sure he
game
was
one.
asked to leave.
Yeah. Anyway, I just remember that. Like, oh yeah, what
Don
happens for
Matrix.
those?
The whole generation has been like fixing Don Matrix's mistakes from like 2 years before the Xbox came out, and they haven't really been able to do it. So
They
I
lost
feel like,
a lot of market share that day.
I mean, the new Xbox head Phil Spencer seems to at least like care about games and have his pulse to what's actually going on and what people want. So I feel like they have a good shot with this next generation. We'll just have to see if they can really hit it strong with like new games that are coming out.
Competition is good.
Yeah, no, and this I've said it before, coming from someone who does not own a current Xbox, I still want them to thrive. I want all three of them to thrive because they keep each other in check.
Yep. And I feel like PlayStation ran away with this one.
Oh,
my
understatement. And that's why it's even more surprising that Nintendo has seen the sales with the Switch that it has seen, considering that PlayStation already had such a grip, but that's the exclusives
And that's also
for you.
where
Also, launching with Zelda helped.
Oh, absolutely, day one.
But yeah, I guess, Matt, that's a good point. I didn't really think about that, a lot of the reason they might not want to have a lot of news right now in November is because, we're about to hit Black Friday. They probably want to get rid of their surplus of Xbox
it's the last
Ones.
chance to really push the system before they have to sunset it.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't really have anything to, unless they're surprise announcing a game at this conference, they don't really have anything to push it with.
No, just some
I mean,
Gears.
they could probably
Some Gears.
they could probably Gears DLC or something, or multiplayer map packs. That's what they'll probably push. Yeah.
I'm sure there's other stuff. I just don't pay attention to what Xbox
Recore.
is doing.
Recore, that's been around for.
I'm just
old.
naming exclusives that I know of. Halo 5, Guardians.
States of Decay, or the two of those.
Did we mention Gears 5? That's out, kids. Buy an Xbox this Black Friday.
It'll probably be a better deal than the PlayStation, only because PlayStation's like, well, we know that you want it.
Sea of
so.
Thieves, Battletoads.
Oh, Sea of Thieves. I forgot
Battletoads
about
hasn't
that.
come out.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at the Xbox exclusives. It's pretty.
I guess
Pretty limited.
speaking of Black Friday, I guess Nintendo's not lowering the price of the Switch again, but they are packing it with like games this time. Like a couple games you can get.
Oh, what, downloaded already into the system? Or,
No,
like,
I think
physical
I think it
copies
comes
of
with the cartridges.
Oh,
That would be too much space.
I know, yeah. Comes with Zelda, and that's it.
We don't have really time to talk about it today, and I forgot to write it down anyways. I was going to go through the games releasing in November, but I don't really think there's that many major releases where it warrants the attention. Also, we're like midway through
Yeah,
November.
we've talked about most of the big ones. I mean, you've got Star Wars and Pokemon come out in the next couple days.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't really talk about the Pokemon thing either, did I? We're pretty far into this podcast. You want to save it for next time?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we
I mean, maybe we'll have gotten more news about the
Yeah,
quality
maybe.
of the game by then.
Long story short, it seems like Pokemon's reusing most of the assets from the 3DS games, which doesn't surprise me and also infuriates me at the same time. And I'm sure I'll have a lot of negative things to say about that once I learn more information about it. Because Matt told me about that right before we started the podcast, and I had no idea, and I was pretty peeved. But yeah, is there anything else you guys want to bring to the table?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
All right.
Table is closed.
Well, boys, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Matt Talks Games.
You can find me, Dan, on Twitter at Game Review Guy.
And you can find me, Andy, at Hylian Andy on Twitter. You can also find the podcast on Twitter at manabarpodcast or on Instagram at the manabarpodcast. You can also email us at manabarpodcast@gmail.com. Even though we're not doing a discussion topic every week, we are still more than welcome to take your suggestions for suggestion topics, also your comments and concerns, or maybe just about the games you've played, or maybe you had a different opinion than we did and you just want us to hear about it. You can also tweet at us too, or I don't know if Instagram has a thing where you can @ someone on Instagram and do something, but
I don't even know how to use Instagram.
that's our social media guy, everybody.
I'm just throwing stuff.
He's
out
controlling our social media and just doesn't know how it works. It's going into the cloud.
We need to hire like a 20-year-old intern to tell us how the internet works these days.
Will you get me coffee?
Sure.
Oh, awesome. We need to do that. And with that, this is the Trophy Hunter, the Collector, and the Bargain Bin Gamer logging off.